Hello, it's the Giant Bombcast for June 16th, 2020. I'm Brad Shoemaker. I'm just going to keep talking like this. Jeff Gersman's here.
Hey, what's going on, sports fans? It's time for talking hockey right here. When's the season going to come back? Am I right?
Talkie.
The Avalanche, baby.
Who's the Avalanche?
The Colorado Avalanche.
What?
I'm pretty sure that's a hockey team.
Isn't that like a esports thing?
It's almost. It sounds like an esports thing,
All,
right?
all sports are E at this point, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
By necessity. By necessity, all
God.
sports are brought to you electronically. Ben Pack.
I've booked my tickets. I'm going to Florida for the last few weeks of the NBA season. I'm going to be there. I'm the only person they're allowing in the stadium, and I hope to see some slam dunks. I'm
Great.
excited. Florida's the place to be right now, I've heard, for
That's
for lots of reasons.
It's a great time to be there. The beaches are popping off. Are the NBA doing the empty arena thing?
I believe that is the case. So they're going to have all the teams in one location playing in one stadium with no fans.
This is an illegitimate season. The season just needs to be canceled.
22 teams, not every team.
What's illegitimate about it?
We can't let LeBron beat. I don't know. I don't recognize it.
Jan Ochoa has spoken. Cancel basketball.
Maybe that's just me hating on LeBron because I'm from San Francisco. That's probably what it is.
What is the San Francisco beef with LeBron James?
We just hate him.
Okay.
Hate him.
Just
you like Steph Curry.
Irrational, blinding hatred? Oh,
Yep.
good. Okay. Well, this podcast is already on topic.
Like, you're okay with Draymond Green and his antics. You know, it's fine. Steph
How
Curry.
can you not be?
Steph Curry, what a wonderful family man. You know,
Oh,
him and
God.
Aisha, love him.
And did you see the thing that the NBA is considering using crowd noises from NBA 2K19 pumped in to replace the lack of audience?
Why stop there? Why don't you just start putting in the fake crowd from
Yeah, have
Okay,
fake
yeah.
crowd
Cardboard
cutaways?
green
Cutouts,
screens.
and put in the cardboard cutout people?
Oh my god.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
What's stopping you?
Well, so that's the thing wrestling did. Like, so and when wrestling first started, when wrestling first kept going in empty arenas, it was like complete silence. And eventually they all realized, like, there's what could we do about this?
It was great.
And so instead they put other wrestlers like
Handful of
kind of
wrestlers
behind
off to the side.
like plexiglass, like hockey boards.
Yeah.
And now they're back there kind of making noise and like chanting and doing the stuff a crowd would do.
Do they have signs? Do they like make their own signs?
Maybe they do. I
Not
don't
yet.
know.
Not yet.
I have not seen. I've
Ben?
not watched a ton of wrestling, but
They don't have chairs. They have to stand for
yeah,
3+
they stand,
hours.
Yeah, and they stand
They're professional athletes at
Yeah.
their prime. They can stand.
and with the stuff going around today
Yeah, I was
on
about to
Twitter, it sounds
say.
like that maybe they're all sick. So
Oh no!
Who was it in the operation?
someone in
Great.
developmental like tested positive.
Yeah, like what is that? Is that a talent scout kind of thing?
So no, some of the people that were in the crowd, or the fake crowd, are like people that are not on television. There's like developmental wrestlers doing stuff,
oh,
and someone in I think it's someone in that
so it is
zone.
a wrestler, is what you're saying?
Is a wrestler but had not been performing in the ring.
I see. Okay,
But who knows?
Still in a locker room, I assume at some point.
Still, well, they I don't know.
Who knows?
You hear a lot of different stories about how WWE is doing things, and testing people is not one of the things they've been doing apparently. So, other than just like, hey, you got a temperature? No, come on in.
I mean,
Well,
it's-
you know, if we
it's
stop
not nothing.
testing, there's not going to be any more cases.
Exactly.
That's true.
That's 0 tests, 0 cases.
Yeah.
I heard the shirt.
trick. Cases of pneumonia, though, amazingly, are up 500%
Weird.
somehow.
Yeah. Well, it's wet out there.
Yeah.
You're breathing in a lot of wetness.
Folks, it's wet out there
Yeah,
today.
folks, it's very wet out there. Be careful. I heard you like to get wet. Jan,
It only
Yeah,
my lungs.
your hatred of LeBron James, how do you reconcile this with
Getting wet?
Space Jam
Oh
like,
man,
as a concept?
fuck. I love Space Jam. The very
Yeah,
first
I
paycheck
figured you did.
received, I bought a Space Jam DVD, even though I already had it on VHS.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a good
Jesus
VHS.
Christ! And I had
That's a
pitched
good
a long
upgrade.
time ago that instead of Space Jam, it should be Space Slam, starring The Rock
And it's slam ball.
or Slam Ball.
Damn
Yes,
it! I was going
both.
to talk about Slam Ball.
Is he still The Rock?
Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, yeah.
Is he still?
Yeah.
It's not just full on Dwayne Johnson yet.
There was a brief period. So contractually, the WWE owns the name The Rock.
Oh.
And for a while there, they did not have the working arrangement for him to continue using the name. And they came to an agreement of some sort. And now he can be Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I see.
Cool.
Is that? Do you think he's going to stick with that when he runs for office?
Yes.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
seems like it's not out of the realm of possibility at this point.
I mean,
Do you think
sure.
they're going to introduce another sexy animal in Space Jam 2?
Oh, like a yeah. I mean, they
Fox.
have to because you're right. Lola Bunny was kind of a jumping off point for furry culture in a lot of big ways. So I think that they need to up the game, considering the current climate of the internet.
Right.
So is that like,
So,
a sexy ocelot or something? Like, would you have to? Does it or a ferret? Does it need to be an animal that people are like?
ferret's-
Could be
that
just
would
like-
a cool pet.
Daffina Duck,
Oh,
you know,
Okay.
just a sexy lady Daffy
I
Duck.
feel like
I
that's
could see a
just
sexy
just
duck,
Daffy
yeah.
Duck dressing up. at
I mean, that was
point.
Bugs. Bugs.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I feel like that's the real awakening happened there, not this Lola Bunny shit. That's where the real action is.
Jason Haystriker, I haven't said your name yet. What do you know about the real action?
The real action is in Slam Ball. Slam Ball, bring that back. Do you know why? Because they're jumping around too fast for the COVID to catch them.
You just got to outrun it.
Yep.
Just outrun it.
True
like
athlete.
Run and
athletes.
jump it.
Yes. And slam it.
Only athletes at the top of their game.
Yeah, if
Slam
someone
the
to
COVID.
like cough or sneeze into you, you just jump over them.
You just jump
Uh-huh.
away.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
That's right.
Slam Ball.
That's how I've been staying safe.
Yep.
Yes.
Jumping
indeed.
around.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Slam Ball
hello.
Superstars.
Hi.
Hey, Brad.
Video games?
Hey.
What's going on over there?
You want to talk
Which
about
one?
video games?
Slam Ball could have been the ultimate video game, and THQ was going to do it, but Slam Ball fell apart before it could happen, or THQ fell apart before it could happen. One or the other.
It always
They both
does.
fell apart. Point
The
being,
best things always do.
and now they're both back in different forms. I
Best
say,
things always do.
A lot of stuff falling apart. Speaking of falling apart,
That's
yes,
the last
The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, geez.
Oh,
Yeah.
We're going there.
We should talk about that.
yes.
Except I have been negligent, and I meant to get the embargo up in front of me to make sure.
You should have that pasted to your monitor. at
Talk
this
amongst
point.
yourselves for just a
Brendan,
second.
I don't think your monitor is big enough to hold
Right.
everything that they don't want you to spoil.
What they don't want you to say.
This is what they don't want you to spoil, even though it leaked ages ago.
I think we're
Ellie's in Space Jam 2.
Oh shit!
actually we're past the review embargo, so I think I can talk
Exactly,
pretty freely at this point. Just making sure. 'Cause the game's
I think it's
still not out
like
yet.
common sense. Just don't spoil
Yes.
the story
Yes,
type stuff.
which
at
I
this point.
obviously am not going to do at all here.
and don't magically run a bunch of video of the game
Yes.
yet.
Yes, we definitely still can't do much with the video, but
Yeah.
man, is that game a lot right now?
How
in
you holding
particular,
up?
it is. I'm not sure where to start with this. It is one of the most unrelentingly brutal games I have ever played.
Is that a good thing or a
Like,
bad thing?
I don't know where to fall on that right now. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't
Or is
finished
a
it.
Sophisticated thing.
I thought I was going to have finished it today,
Mhm.
and then, consistent with what I have heard from some other people, I got to what seemed like it might be the ending, or pretty close to the end of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was like 6+ hours ago. Like, there is a lot more there than you think.
Wow.
It is very effective at what it's trying to do, but what it's trying to do is a lot to take in. It's not like a graphic violence thing so much. Like, you know, if you just want to talk like gratuitous violence, obviously like your Mortal Kombats or your whatever. You know.
Sure.
If you want to talk Ribcages per capita, there are much more violent games out there. You know.
Has
Yeah.
any of it felt satisfying?
But no, it's not
Though?
like that. It's like it's the.
Or does it feel like it's? I guess like that's been a lot of the discussion since reviews hit. Is like, does the violence feel like it's actually there to good effect and like serves a purpose?
It is definitely serving a purpose. Yes, I
Yeah.
haven't. I made a point of not reading reviews and stuff that have come out so far.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is. It's more like the stuff that is hard to sit with. I think is less the depiction of the actual violence and more just the intent of the characters.
Mhm.
You know, like the just like maliciousness, like hatred. Like it's definitely speaking to like a very base level. Just like human tendency toward violence toward people that have wronged you or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hard thing to describe. Like, okay, the classic Nathan Drake problem.
Yes.
That
Like
he
the thing where he's
murders
just the thing
millions
where-
of dudes,
like the
but
thing-
then at the end of the game, he says a one-liner and
Right.
smirks at the camera, and
Like
you're supposed to forgive him.
Right, like the thing we've always talked about, where he's like lovable scoundrel who's also a mass murderer, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if this was intentional on their part or not, but I feel like they have finally resolved that dissonance by making, like, instead of murdering hundreds of people being counter to the aims of the characters, murdering hundreds of people is consistent with the aims of the characters.
It's like, yes, you are absolutely, you are finally that piece of shit through and through.
Right. And like
Okay.
it's definitely like a story where I'm pretty deep into it. I think I'm hopefully going to finish it in the next night or two. But like, nobody comes off as a particularly good person in this thing. Like, everybody's got some degree of like justifiable reasons for what they're doing, but it's like hard to see anybody as like a purely sympathetic character in this game. And
Sure. Yeah.
it's a lot to take in right now.
Well, I guess it's hard to say without you having finished it, but if everyone is a piece of shit, does it feel like the game is actually saying anything other than, well, everyone's a piece of shit?
I mean, as far as I can tell, like, again, we'll see where it goes, but like from everything I've seen, it takes a very like overtly condemnatory tone toward what's happening. Like it in some respects, it's like pretty blatant, I think, about like, hey, like, this shit just spirals out of control. Like, answering violence with more violence is, it's kind of eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, right? Like, that kind of thing. Like, it is very much like, hey, like, this is a bottomless spiral from which there is no escape, is the way it has been playing out so far.
So ripped from the headlines then.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah,
Sounds
I mean,
uplifting.
not remotely. Like, I have come away from the game 2 or 3 times just feeling kind of like unsettled, just generally like kind of gross feeling in my stomach. Not from like, I mean, there are some very like gratuitously violent scenes. There's been a couple in particular that were a little hard to watch. Like, it's incredibly well acted, like the performance capture, like their production techniques for capturing this kind of stuff are so mature at this point that like I think that stuff reads very realistically enough that it's like kind of bothersome to watch in some cases. But
They murder real good, huh?
But again, it's like less of an overt gore thing and more of a just like everybody just wants to fucking kill each other here,
Right.
and like you kind of understand why they all feel that way, but still, like, oof.
I have a question. How is the video game part of it?
It is more of that. Like, did you play the first game? Like, it is. No. It is absolutely that exact same kind of third-person stealth action game. Like, it has third-person shooting, but it's got kind of one toe in a resource management survival type game. Like, you have to scrounge resources and craft stuff. Like, you rarely have more than single-digit bullets for any gun.
Okay.
Is a good way to sum it up, I think.
Do you feel like you're ever, but like, are the crafting resources also scarce, or is it really just kind of, hey, like, is it limiting you on a per encounter basis more or less?
Yes.
Because it's like at the end of every encounter, you're like, now I can craft all these bullets again.
Kinda. So I made a possibly questionable decision in case I end up reviewing this game and I'm playing it on hard, because that's what you always do. I understand. Not always. Like, there's not even a trophy for difficulty as far as I have seen in this game. But that's how I ended up enjoying the first game, because I really bounced off the first game. At first, I just didn't think it was that interesting. I mean, did anybody here play much or all of the first game?
I played through it.
Played through it.
Yeah. So
I super bounced
resource
off
management was tied to difficulty level.
right.
Well.
So like I started that game. I started the first game and just kind of bounced off of it and put it down for like 6 months. And then like Game of the Year was coming up, and I was like, I should give that another shot. And I saw a bunch of people saying like, hey, if you play this on hard, it turns into like a pretty grueling like resource management challenge of like you really don't have much to work with, and like that kind of, it basically creates another decision point in every encounter of like every bullet I shoot here, every health pack I use is like significantly ratcheting down what I have to work with. Like you have to make every single action count, and that's what I ended up doing here. And so I can't speak to what it's like on normal, but like you are finding more stuff to replenish your stock, but it's not like it's not guaranteed by any means.
It's not abundance.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it is very much that game again. Like, they've built on all that stuff. There's a couple new weapons. There's a couple new enemy types. Like, there's some new crafting and ability options. But very much that again. They pull... I don't want to ruin any surprises. They pull some interesting tricks around, like, the ways that they surprise you with encounters in some spots, if that makes sense. Like, again, like, without giving away the surprise, it's like things about video games where you think, like, okay, surely they wouldn't spring an enemy encounter on me right now, and then they totally do, if that makes sense. Like,
I mean, that sounds to fit with the narrative of the game of, like, they're kind of always in danger, you know, there's many external threats out there. Like, it's cool that they decided to ratchet that up by making you, the player, feel unsafe.
Yes, totally. Like, it bleeds into, I guess, just kind of meta mechanical layers of the game where, like, no matter what you are doing in the game where you think in any normal video game you would be safe, like, there's some shit might pop off in a way that you have to be prepared for, which I've found really interesting from just a design perspective. I think the storytelling is incredibly effective. Like, it's really doing a good job of doing what it's doing. It's just what it's doing is something that I feel like a good number of people might not be up for right now.
But it sounds like people who are, like, excited and sold on this game and are ready for a bleak video game are probably going to enjoy what they're gonna get.
Probably, but, like, again, like, depending on your personal preferences, like, you might overdose on it, even if you are looking for that kind of thing. Like, it is sort of, again, like, a difference in, like, tone and just the intent of the characters, because, like, the first game was not a nice game, right? Like, it's the apocalypse, like, people are being bad to each other and stuff, but a lot of that first game was just about survival. It was a lot of kind of characters versus environment and characters versus, like, you know, arbitrary challenges. This is very much more like these people are all creating their own problems, you know? It's like failure to restrain themselves from their basest urges is the biggest problem in this game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, just lust for vengeance. And, like, when I went to that event last year, they gave a presentation where there was like, oh, we wanted to make a revenge story. And I was like, oh, great. So, like, every other video game ever made. But this one really kind of hits you in the gut with, like, just the savageness of the acts that are being committed, and then the responses to those, and then the responses to that. And it's just like, again, it just feels like this bottomless spiral that there is no escaping from. And it's rough.
Well, I guess, like, is it good or is it just rough? From what you've seen, like, I don't mean to ask, are you enjoying it? But, like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, like, is it good? Are you enjoying where the story is going?
I have not been able to stop playing it. I will say that. Like,
Okay.
I hit a point. I thought the first, like, 90 minutes of the game was really slow. And I was just like, I don't know if I need more of this. And then things go sideways. And then from that point on, like, I have not been able to stop playing it.
Okay.
But again, like, I'm not going to say that's because I've purely been enjoying it the whole time. I do, but I feel like pressing urge to see where it's going.
Yeah.
Like, it pulls you along for sure.
Okay. That's good.
Even when you're not like, some of this is uncomfortable. But, like, you know, their storytelling technique is very well honed at this point. It's nothing like mind-blowingly revolutionary. You know, if you've watched, like, any cable drama, it's not like they're redefining the rules of video game storytelling or something. It's just very well-worn techniques, but they're just using them really well. So, yeah, I have an idea of, like, the point it's trying to get across and where it's going, but I can't say for sure until I get to the end, which I think will be soon.
And there's no multiplayer, right? They took that out?
Did the first game ship with multiplayer, or did they add that?
I want to say it did, because I think that was when the game came out. I think I played the multiplayer for a while, and I tried to play the single player. Really, really didn't like it. Fucked around with the multiplayer for a while and said, "Wow, this has some really neat ideas." With, like, the camp and the survivors and that sort of stuff, right? And then.
Yeah, I actually
but at the end of the day,
enjoyed
just
that
not
part
liking
more,
the
too.
gameplay at all. So, like, that didn't, you know, I didn't stick around for much of that either.
Yeah,
but it was at least a really cool idea.
For whatever reason, I only remember the multiplayer in the remastered, like, the PS4 version.
Yeah.
But maybe it did have it at launch. I forget. But, like, the stealth action is good. You know, like, I feel like it's not like Metal Gear Solid 5 level, which I think is probably my favorite stealth game ever. but I do like stealth action games. And like this, this has got some pretty tense moments of like, grabbing an enemy, dragging them behind a column so that the other enemy that's approaching you can't catch you and stuff like that. They use a lot of really good audio cues to let you know when you're about to be spotted and stuff like that. And it leads to a lot of really frantic, like seat of your pants kind of saves, which have been pretty satisfying.
Okay.
Like I am enjoying the gameplay, but it's not anything like mind-blowingly special without the propulsion of the story pushing you along.
Right.
So, yeah, man, I don't know. Like, who here, based on what I've just said, is like itching to play this game?
I can't say that I am.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't.
Just given current events and just like
Right.
where we are in the world right now.
Totally.
Like, I don't know if I could deal with that kind of like weight.
It is.
You know?
There's
It
just
seems
a
really heavy.
there's just a nonstop like viciousness to just about everything that's happening in the game.
Is any of it cathartic at all, or is it just like mostly just like eating away at you, kind of, Brad? Like in a way that's
Like
like
you go back and forth, and like maybe that's to the game's credit that like when some bad stuff happens, like you want to see vengeance exacted, right? But
Right.
then like the closer you get to that, the more you think about like, oh, is this just making me as much of a monster as them?
Yeah, you're falling right into their trap,
Like,
Brad.
it's kind of it's pretty good at getting that stuff across.
Okay.
I think so. It's some of it is a little on the nose, I will say.
Yeah.
Like
I
some of
think-
it is a little bit blatantly like, oh, these people that you thought were sheer monsters, like maybe they had motivations of their own that are somewhat justifiable. Like some of that stuff can be maybe a little heavy-handed at times,
Okay.
but it is.
I do
there.
want to play it eventually. It sounds like they have succeeded in a lot of the areas that they set out to succeed in.
Yes.
I'm not the biggest fan of that style of gameplay, nor am I emotionally stable enough to handle a
Right.
game that crushing right now. But like, I'll probably play it at some point, like try and burn a weekend sometime in the future.
I think for me, it's like you saying that the gameplay is pretty much the same. It's just like, all right, I didn't want to do that last time.
Yeah, if
Like,
you did not
I
like
found that stuff,
yeah, if you did,
I hated it. So
there is another layer of new stuff on top of that,
Yeah.
but it is very much that. So
yeah, no,
Um,
like I feel like I could probably handle the story, or could at least give it a shot. But like, nah.
to some degree, just as someone who kind of keeps tabs on video games in general, like I feel like at some point it would be worth seeing what they've done just to
Yeah,
just to have a sense
yeah,
of some of the
yeah.
extremes that they go to here, because like
I feel like people say that about every Naughty Dog game, and every time I try, with the possible exception of like Uncharted 2, but I feel like every time I try to like see what people are seeing in it and just go like, yeah, no, like their technology is second to none. Like they spent a lot of money, they spent a lot of hours making this really fucking nice looking performance capture and all this like really amazing stuff, but like
And
I
that
don't
does carry
think I
some
like
worth.
playing any
Yeah.
of their games.
Yeah.
Like some of that stuff is interesting.
Yeah.
Like from a step removed to go like, wow, they're really like they're moving boundaries on storytelling, performance capture, whatever it is. It's been different from game to game, but boy, I don't think those games play very well.
It's
so-
definitely not my style of game, but I definitely sat through the first one because of the spectacle, I guess.
Yeah.
Because of the cinematic qualities of it, and those virtues, I guess, alone carried me through the gameplay. But
yeah, it is
I can
very,
definitely see where you're coming from.
yeah, like it is very much that linear style of storytelling driven game. Like for the most part, it's just like, hey, there's one path through everything. Like you were gonna, and a lot of it's very interesting and very well designed, but it is just one path. Like you're going more or less in a straight line and
Yeah.
absorbing the story beats as you go. I will say there is one spot near the beginning where did anybody play Uncharted Lost Legacy here?
A little bit, yeah.
I messed with it. I started it.
The secret best Uncharted game.
Yeah.
That game has like some kind of quasi open world stuff early on, and they do the same thing here where you get to kind of get to a new
Did
city.
you get a cool Jeep?
No, you have a horse, which
Okay.
kind
All
of
right.
the same
Oh.
thing.
Okay.
Kind of the same thing.
Does the horse have a Jeep?
That I've seen.
What's the horse's name?
Shimmer.
Jeep.
Oh.
Which I think
Jeep,
it's
Jeep.
not the
What's
worst.
how tall is this horse?
It's not the
What
worst
do we-
horse
like-
name. That's I mean, average horse size. Let's
Average
say.
horse.
Average
Okay.
horse size. Anyway, like you get to a new city where you're trying to get to, and like it kind of opens up. It's like a big kind of 8 block by 8 block region of the city, and you've got a little map that it annotates as you explore, and it's like kind of open world and kind of non-linear, which is nice. But they do it once, and then again,
They just kind of toss away the idea.
pretty close to what feels like the end of the game, and they haven't done it again. So
Weird.
but it's a nice interlude. It's just a nice change of pace to kind of explore a little bit. It's very well done, I think. Like it is as well made, I think, as any game that they have done so far. It's just a lot to take in. So
Oh boy.
know that going into it. like Ben said, I think if you're not up for watching a bunch of people be completely awful to each other for hours at a time, maybe
I'm on this podcast every week.
Yeah, I was gonna say twitter.com. I'm there.
I've already been through the fire on that. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what people at large have to say about this once it's out, because it's pretty extreme in some respects. But I am super eager to finish it. Like I said, I've gotten to a point where I'm dying to go see it through and just see where it's going, because they leave a lot of stuff up in the air in a way that is hard to stop thinking about.
Can you say how many hours you've put in so far?
Well, last I looked at my save, I was like 25 or more.
Okay.
But again, I'm by playing it on hard. Like I have to scour every environment after every encounter for every fucking resource I can find, and like a lot of the encounters are taking me a long time because I'm trying to like kind of perfect stealth my way through as much as I can.
Okay.
So I'm probably taking way longer to get through it than you would on lower difficulties. And there's like 6 difficulty levels, and there's like a ton of accessibility options in there. Also, the difficulty levels, there's like a bunch of granular settings within each setting. It's like resource scarcity, like enemy health, your health. I forget what else.
Madden
like,
sliders.
Kind of like you can tweak different aspects of the difficulty to kind of customize it however you want, which is cool.
Well, they did that. That was like the last couple. Was that the last couple of Uncharted games where they were like,
they've been going.
Hey, instead of tapping X, we're going to let you hold X. Like the accessibility options seems like they've been getting better.
Yeah.
That they've been doing good jobs.
Yeah. There's
good, better work with that as time's gone on.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff like that in there. So, I would love to hear what some of y'all on staff have to say about this once people have had a chance to get through it.
That's out this week?
Yes. Thursday, Friday time frame.
Yeah. Okay.
Ugh. Yeah.
Well, just take a shower, Brad. You're good. You'll be good.
It's been heavy.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is super invested in watching it, I will say. Like, we've been playing through it together, and it's just, it's it's kind of been setting a tone around here.
Yeah, that's how I played the first game.
Yeah.
With my girlfriend watching me play it.
Yeah.
And then she was pretty hooked. So I don't know. If this sounds more heavy-handed or just like utterly depressing, I don't know if she'll want to play with me.
Yeah, give it a shot. See how it goes.
We'll see.
Like I said, it's like 2 hours into the game before you kind of get a sense of like what the tone of the game is. So if you bounce off in that first couple hours, you'll know. So,
well, more grim video games. Torchlight 3 came out.
Oh no!
Oh no!
No.
What do you have to do to that dog?
I have an alpaca.
Oh no! What do you have to do to that alpaca?
I put items on it and I send it back to town.
You monster!
Like it was a filthy pack mule. I make it fight for me.
Ooh.
It has a name, Jeff.
It did. Yeah, I pushed the random button and it seemed like every other name that came up on random was Clive. So I stuck with Clive.
That's a good name for an alpaca.
That's pretty good.
It seemed like it. Yeah.
Is that just a Torchlight game?
Pretty much.
Because like the development history of it has been like, I think yet again they were like, all right, this time we're making the MMO version of Torchlight or something.
This is going to be a free-to-play game. Yeah,
Right.
no. So it hit early access over the weekend. It's like $30, I think.
$30.
And it's a Torchlight game. It opens with a more nautical kind of vibe to it, meaning there's a boat. But
Sea-punk.
Yeah,
Finally.
you get into port. I feel like, and you know what? Honestly, I've like somehow, for some reason, I don't remember a damn thing about Torchlight 2. I don't know what happened.
Me neither.
Like I played some of it, a fair amount of it. I don't remember loving it. I remember playing it going like, this seems fine, but like never got hooked on it. But I played a lot of Torchlight 1 and got into all these mods and all this other stuff. So, but even, that's been a long time too. Torchlight 3 has weird classes in it. Of the 4 classes they've got so far, the one I went with is like it's a potbelly stove, but it's a robot looking with like spider legs, and he's got a cannon in his chest.
Like Wild Wild West spider legs?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
This is C-punk.
It is, yeah. That character specifically is pretty C-punk. But then, like, there's another class that's the Rail Master, and I have not tried him yet, but he apparently uses a hammer, and a train follows him around.
Okay.
So
I like the sound of that.
yeah, it seems like they had some fun with ideas on some of the class stuff. But I went with the robot, and I don't think I love the class. But also the game itself seems a little. It seems like it's not there yet. I don't know.
It is early access.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It is, and so
This
people
was a stealth drop, right? It was kind of just like, hey, it's out on Steam right now.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, they'd obviously announced it and all that
Yeah.
stuff, but yeah, I think it kind of came out. They announced like, hey, this thing's out, and then it was out. And so the servers went down immediately after it came out. So there are all these super negative Steam reviews, but I feel like most of them are just people going like, I can't play it, but you can play it.
Is that why everybody's calling it a bummer, or is there more to it than that?
I think it's kind of flat, honestly. It's it's the structure of it almost reminded me of Guild Wars in a sense. Like it's like when you go to town, there's a bunch of players there, but when
Okay.
you get out into the world, it's instanced, or it seems instanced. And there's probably newer touchstones for that than Guild Wars 1, but
Hey, Destiny does that.
Destiny,
Like
but
most
you
games.
would encounter people out in the EDZ. You
Oh,
find
yeah,
people
sure,
out there
sure,
in Destiny.
sure.
That's not; those are public zones. And yeah, so I don't know. Like it's the skill trees seem a little underwhelming. It being and I wonder what they're going to do with mods. I don't know if they've said anything one way or the other, but it being this big online game, like, are people going to be able to create new classes in mods and do all this other stuff and still play it, or are they going to have some? Maybe they'll have an offline mode for that stuff. I don't know. Anyway, point being, it's an action RPG. You eventually can build out a fort, and so you can go back to your fort and put structures there that will be like, hey, here's your enchanting structure, and here's this different stuff. You can go back to town, obviously, also. I just found it really flat and really plain. In a world where Torchlight seemed like the game that came out because Blizzard wasn't making a Diablo and hadn't made one in a while, and Torchlight 1 came out, and you're like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But there are so many games like that now for so many different types of players. People have done good free-to-play takes on it, good for-pay takes on it. Diablo 3 is still running seasons, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Diablo 4 on the way.
yeah, the bar for an action RPG is a lot higher now than it was then, and I just it feels very empty in terms of options. Like the skill trees don't seem like they have a ton of variety on them. The robot I'm using has a chest cannon, basically, so like I can hit right mouse at any time and just start shooting, and it generates heat, and then so basically you get abilities that spend heat. So you build up enough heat to pop your ability that drops your heat down, so you can keep shooting, and then you also have a main weapon and shield and stuff too. So if you get people in close, but like, and then some of this stuff is like stuff you look at and go like, well, maybe this is because it's early access, but like, the hit reactions when you're hitting people with a sword or a melee weapon or something are kind of non-existent. I feel like the any kind of signaling about, hey, you're about to die always comes like a second too late. There's like a voice that goes like, you're dying. But like, usually that's happening as I'm falling over dead. I'm like, oh.
You're like, I know.
Yeah. You've got health potions that are consumable items, so you have to collect them and buy them or whatever else. But then there's a cooldown to use them, so you can't just pop them over and over again, but it's still a limited resource, so it seems like they want to have it both ways. It seems like they should just do away with them as a resource and just have it on a cooldown. It seems like a more natural way to go at this point, or a more friendly way to go. I don't know. It feels a little messy, I guess, around the edges. And for this style of game, where now there are a lot of examples of people out there doing it right in different ways,
Right.
it's harder to stay invested in something like Torchlight 3.
Like we saw a glimpse of that with Wolcen, which seemed to be like, okay, it obviously had some problems and stuff, but it got kind of buried because like you said, there's Path, there's Diablo 3, there's tons of other games that are like really good examples of the genre right now.
Yeah, Wolcen. I forgot. I played a few hours of Wolcen and completely forgot about it until you just said it. But
all right, here is possibly, to my mind, the best barometer for Torchlight 3. Guacamole Party in the chat asks, this or Minecraft Dungeons?
Wow. You can
There's-
get an alpaca in both.
It's true. You can. Yeah. I think Minecraft Dungeons is a different. It is not a full-on action RPG. It is very light. It is very short. It is. I finished it. I don't think Minecraft Dungeons is an especially good game. It's okay, but like it doesn't scratch the same itch because it doesn't have the same loot variety because it doesn't present itself the same way as like a true loot-based action RPG does.
Very simplified.
Yeah, very much so. And I think that like the idea of playing Minecraft Dungeons a second time after having finished it, like no, absolutely not.
Just
Unless
play
you had a
some
group,
regular Minecraft instead.
now you're talking.
Okay.
Oh my god,
What?
we almost lost everything.
It was fine.
It was, Brad. Seriously, that like was some of the saddest I've been.
Dude, that was a very unpleasant 2 hour fucking. I think Last of Us 2 is bad. Think about sitting there for 2 hours thinking that I had destroyed all of the work we put into that server.
I just loaded it up and I spawned in a forest in the middle of. If you missed it, we had our Minecraft. We've been playing Minecraft every week on Fridays, and I loaded it up because I asked Brad to open up the server a little early, and I popped in and I just was in the middle of a forest with no items and nothing around, and I was just started screaming at Abby and Jan. I'm like, it's all gone.
I got very acquainted with that particular forest because every time I loaded it back up to see if I had fixed it, I was back in that same fucking forest again.
Oh no.
And I was like, God damn it. Why isn't this working?
Yeah.
It actually never went away. Like I have backups and I ended up restoring one, but it was never not there. I won't get into it. The data was there. It was just compressed, so the server couldn't find the world data, and it took me a while to figure out what had happened.
It did give us a chance to check out the community Minecraft server, which was really cool. They've done a lot of really
Those
insane stuff.
Yeah,
there.
wow. Look at
those people,
the
I
stuff-
have no idea
the stuff-
how they're able to make any of that crap.
when you can play as long as you want, the stuff you can accomplish. pretty
And you have
impressive.
like 50 people in there working on projects.
Well, when your RAM shows up and that server's up
Oh, yeah.
24/7,
Oh, I hope
then we're gonna
God.
get down to business.
Hopefully this week.
Speaking of fixing games, I also finally got the RTX beta of Minecraft installed on this.
Oh
machine.
shit!
I had to go find, and so this was a solution I stumbled onto myself because all of the solutions about how to get things to install from the Windows Store, none of them worked. I had to find where Windows was installing UWP apps by default. And sure enough, there was a directory for Minecraft there, even though it wasn't installed, and like a cache folder. There was no files there, but it would not let me delete any of those folders or do anything with it, but I could rename them. So I just renamed the existing Minecraft folder to fuck ass, whatever.
Fuck ass, whatever.
All right, we got
and
our
then-
episode title.
And then went back to the store and hit install, and then it fully fucking installed. Oh, God damn it. Stupid shit.
Yeah, the Windows Store is terrible.
It's
Don't get me going. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How is it? How many years have we been with Windows 10?
5, 6, 5, I think. 2015.
The very idea that, like, and the amount of shit they have taken over at Microsoft for the quality of that store and for this particular error, which when you start searching this error code that I was getting, there were years of submitted feedbacks about, like, I can't install this. This is broken.
yeah.
This is
Oh, yeah.
broken. And the idea that it is still coming up and that there isn't like there's like, oh, here's some 3 things you could try and none of them will work, but hey, you could still try them. It's amazing.
That is like every esoteric bug with Windows in my experience. It's like, oh, this broke 5 feature updates ago, and it's all over the Microsoft support forums, and it's a bunch of automated responses from their support people saying, well, have you tried rebooting? Have you tried?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's a bunch of
practically.
just a bunch of like not garbage generic responses to everything, and nobody actually knows how to fix anything.
Yeah, but some of these seem to go back years.
Yeah, totally.
It's really
Like my Windows Store does not auto update any apps. I have to launch it and click update to make it update anything.
Huh.
And that is that's another one of the common problems that nobody seems to know how to fix.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, and Jason, obviously you've had numerous problems over the years.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. I don't want to get into it. It's still depressing.
Well, have you tried creating another user account and then
Oh my
opening up
God,
that
yes.
one? And
Oh my god!
Like I got
into
all
the
excited.
registry.
I got all excited when they
Jesus.
announced that new package manager for Windows, purely because I was hoping it would let us circumvent the Windows Store.
yeah,
We will
it
see.
doesn't. I don't know. The way it seems to exist today, it doesn't seem like that thing will do what you're looking for it to do. Anyway, I got that installed. Minecraft with ray tracing looks pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, like all the reflective surfaces and so it's not on in every, like when I go to create a new world, it's not on there. It's only available in specific, like they have like NVIDIA created RTX worlds.
weird.
Oh, really?
And you have to download one of those from the marketplace.
Huh.
They're free. Finding it was a chore, but like they're free. And then you can load into that and go and basically like creative mode, fly around and go like, oh wow, all these reflective surfaces, and I can see reflections in this stained glass, and there's a bunch of really cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, the coolest stuff to me about that stuff is not only that it looks amazing, which it does, but like, have we mentioned like the stuff Will Smith has talked about, where like he made a camera obscura with his daughter and it actually works because the way that light bounces is basically accurate to the real world, so you can do weird tricks with stuff like that, and it actually works.
That's pretty neat.
It's neat. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I messed around with that a little bit. Disintegration.
Yes. Is that out?
That is out
It's out
today, I believe.
Today,
Okay.
yeah.
So
PC and
you guys-
PS4.
You guys played some of that?
Yeah,
What
so
is that?
I got an email. This seems like it might have happened last year sometime, but it could have been. I don't know. Time is I don't understand time anymore. But at some point in the past, in the old times, I got an email out of the blue saying, "Here's closed beta keys for the Disintegration multiplayer beta." I was like, I don't think I've ever heard of Disintegration. I have no idea what this is. So I redeemed the code. It was a multiplayer beta, played it. I was like, oh, okay. And then promptly forgot about it until about a week or two ago when review codes for Disintegration showed up. It is, it's a first-person shooter with
Sometimes.
some light, you have some units with you that you can order around. I don't even want to call it an RTS because it's just it's like you have units with you that basically give you additional abilities, and you can focus their fire. Basically, like, so at the start of the game, you're on a hover bike, and the bike can raise up and down, but it always has to be over ground, so you can't just go flying off wherever. And you strafe around and shoot like you would in a first-person shooter, and then you've got a couple of guys with you. Like that'll have abilities like, oh, here's a grenade that slows everything down if an enemy gets caught in it. Here's a concussion grenade that'll stun people.
And it's like literally 2 units at the beginning.
2 units, yeah.
Are you on foot the whole time?
No, you're on this grav bike.
Okay, the whole time.
Ooh.
Yeah. And you can you have a max height and stuff, but you can raise and lower your altitude.
And generally speaking, I feel like raising your altitude is just a really good way to be a sitting duck and get shot down. It's not. So it becomes a mix of like you have your own gun, and it does okay damage, but
it's just so basic.
Yeah, totally. And then you have your other units that you can kind of hit right bumper or I don't know,
right click.
And order your other units to focus fire on a target or move to a location. You'll need them to pop open like healing canisters or whatever, healing units on the ground or something.
Yeah, there's a scan mode which you can switch to that shows you like interactable things in the combat arena, and it can be like healing canisters, it can be explosives.
Yeah, and if any of your units go down, basically you have to go collect their corpse within 30 seconds, or you lose, and they'll respawn like a few seconds after you collect them. And the hover bike is really slow. It doesn't strafe like very fast, like dodging incoming fire. It seems like you're just going to kind of take hits in that game.
You have a boost that can kind of get you out of a sticky situation, but like it's
on
really
a cooldown
on
and
such a big cooldown.
And you are this big sitting duck of a target. So if you're kind of, whatever you're doing, all the enemies are usually focused on you unless you're sending your troops out. And so it tries to achieve this mix of like, you need to do your own dirty work, but also make sure that the units are coming in to draw fire or use the abilities so they can't shoot back, and because you're sort of fragile, and And I guess like it's cool that there are not a lot of games like this, and I gotta at least give it up for that. Like there's not, no one's making this kind of game anymore. But I don't think it's good or fun.
I think I like it slightly more than you, but
Yeah.
like, so basically my experience with the game was loaded it up, loaded the tutorial, went through that. I was like, okay, there's like something here. This seems like an interesting concept. I'm gonna get to work, and then I loaded the game and watched a like 25-minute cutscene that was like, to its credit, well voice acted and cinematically interesting, but it was very long, and they were telling me about lots of history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it launched me further into like a big kind of Mass Effect 2 style
Hub.
going around this
Yeah.
hangar talking to people.
It reminded me of Agents of Mayhem, which is never what you want to see.
Yeah, I said Mass Effect 2, but like way worse than the Normandy. And just it was just so much time before I actually started playing the game that I was like getting impatient. And then that first level loaded, and it was just like, okay, they're not really. This is not
like
the
the
game
shooting
I thought it
doesn't
was gonna
feel.
be.
The shooting doesn't feel very good.
Like I thought we would be like controlling, like 30 units at once and like doing these big, large scale tactical battles, which might have been their intention when they were designing the game. And then maybe they realized it just didn't work or something. But it's just a little plain, I guess, is the most damning thing I can say about it.
Yeah, I guess Disintegration is yeah, you're right. Like coming out of that tutorial, I feel like there was like an element of like, okay, like they're trying to bring some very light RTS style stuff into this. They're giving me some units, like, but then it ended up being like, well, you can't hit switches yourself. You need to order your unit to go over there and hit the switch to open the door. It's like, oh, you're just making this take longer. In a lot of those types of cases, like combat obviously is a little different, but like that sort of stuff just it made the game feel slow. And then in combat, I feel like the action doesn't feel good. The shooting doesn't feel good. Ordering the units, it never seems to make good on the concept. Like I think they had an idea. They wanted to try to blend these things, and I think that they found like a decent control scheme for it and all that sort of stuff. But it's the structure of the combat. It's like kind of a wide open arena. Like here's a structure. You've got guys defending it. You're kind of rolling up on them in a very linear fashion. Like, okay, here's our next checkpoint. We're gonna fight these 8 guys and whatever. And yeah, it just kind of doesn't really do much with that. You can't really send your units out to just die because, and to its credit, like you can't just cheese it and say like I'm gonna send the units out because they're they'll respawn infinitely, because you have to go get them. And with you being like somewhat fragile, if both your units go down and you're like, well, now I need to run into boost into an area with like 6 dudes all standing around these corpses, you take too much damage for that to really be something you can rely on. And so they want you to play smart, but I feel like the game doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't give you the tools to play
exactly,
tactically
right,
by yourself as like the controller unit.
Yeah, it doesn't give you enough, I guess. Like I feel like if they had done more with the RTS aspect of it, and flesh that out a little bit more, maybe that would be something. Because it feels like they want a very actiony, like you basically order them to a location and they'll fight whatever. You can call them back to you, and then you can, if you highlight a target when you hit that button, then they attack that target. And you have D-pad stuff for, hey, use your ability, and that's on a cooldown. And yeah, it's a neat idea that I just don't think works well enough to be worth people's time. It does have multiplayer. I haven't tried it since it just came out today. I haven't tried it since the game went live, but I did play a little bit of it when they did that closed beta. And I don't know if this is all the modes or not, but I feel like when I tried it out, it was like, now you're just a bunch of grav bikes, and I don't think you even had the other units. So it's just like, here's this really empty first-person shooter that like, oh, I guess I was hovering too high and these 3 guys shot me down, and all right, okay. Like it just didn't seem like it needed to have a multiplayer mode, but maybe they've got other modes in there. I'd have to go look, but like
Yeah.
I'm not really feeling any draw to check out any more of this. Like it's pretty flat.
I know Rory's a little bit further than both of us and unlocked some additional weapons and stuff, and he's going to be streaming it tomorrow, but it doesn't sound like it gets to the level that I would want to continue playing it.
I stuck with it longer than I wanted to because I was just like, this has to go somewhere, right? And it got a little further in. It was just like, all right. As you start to see it kind of unfold a little bit, is like, oh, here's the sorts of things you're going to get. It's like, okay, this is just kind of this, I guess.
That's a shame. It's like action RTS feels like a concept that's never been like fully fleshed out.
Yeah, and honestly, like it was like nicely and weirdly refreshing to be like, oh, this game's not a sequel. Like here's a first-person shooter that is not a sequel. It's not some long in the tooth thing. It's not just another. You know, they've got some ideas. They played that battle zone. You know, like there's stuff. But it just, I think it's still not something I would say people should be spending too much time looking for.
Yeah. Jan Ochoa.
Yes.
I need to know how your experiment playing Monster Train on an iPad or an iPhone has gone.
Actually, it went pretty well.
How did you even do it? Because I tried to do it and I couldn't figure it out.
I just there's like a Steam Link iOS app.
It just wasn't showing up in the games list for me for some reason.
Weird.
Is that separate from the regular Steam app? Is it a distinctive Steam Link app?
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
It's similar to like the actual Steam. The interface is similar to the actual Steam Link box.
Yeah. And yeah, it was actually a little weird and hard to try and find Monster Train on my like installed games list.
Yeah.
I forgot what I had to go like 2 menus deeper than I thought I'd had to find it.
Okay.
But then it wound up mapping like the touch to like mouse and keyboard pretty well.
Okay.
And like, you know, that game you can just like drag and drop.
So are you having to
throughout the whole thing.
manually drag the cursor around the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, just tap to like left click and stuff.
Yeah.
And it worked pretty well.
Okay.
I actually beat a run
Hey.
for the first time using that method.
All right.
What was your combo?
It was just like the default combo.
Okay.
I just had like a big boy up front tanking damage, and then that's with the champion had them with the slay modifier, so they just kept like increasing their damage output.
Beefy. Yeah.
Yeah. It worked pretty well. There was a couple times when like some of the particle effects kind of made it hitch up a bit. Like all in all, it was an okay experience.
That's exciting. I'm going to try that because once I finish The Last of Us, I'm going to need to decompress. Think about
that was a great game to just like autopilot as like I'm watching something on the TV.
Yeah. I've been watching Avatar and playing that.
Right.
It's great.
Thinking about picking Animal Crossing back up soon.
Oh yeah. People in the chat are saying the way to make that show up is it automatically defaults to showing games that are optimized for Steam Link. You have to turn that filter off.
Okay.
All
right. My other question:
Avatar the movie or
the show? I'm not watching the movie over and over. Except, I mean, those first screenshots came out for Avatar 2. Is everyone psyched for the greatest movie event of all time?
Oh, all time. I thought it was just in the summer. But
James Cameron's Avatar 2.
Wait, you're telling me this is going to be bigger than Avatar 1?
Jeff, it's like 16 years in the making. It has to be bigger.
Holy smokes.
Y'all like the blue cat people?
No.
I like the tree. I like that robot with the knife.
Robot had a knife.
Oh yeah.
It was a big robot.
Is it a knife or is it a sword?
It's a knife because it looks like it's like
for like scale. Yeah,
for our
scale, it's a robot knife.
It's like more swordish in size.
Yeah.
Jan, my other question for you is, what is up with that jump rope game?
Fantastic.
Yes.
Before we go to
couldn't get it working.
Before we go to break, I need to know what the fuck Nintendo put out on the eShop this morning.
So I've been trying to find a Ring Fit for forever, and anytime it does pop back in stock anywhere, it immediately gets sold out. And like, your boy is on a fitness quest to stay active, and lo and behold, Nintendo put this out for free. It's on the eShop. It's called Jump Rope Challenge, and it's a very, very simple game where you just take your Joy-Cons and pretend that they're jump ropes. So I guess it uses the motion in, or maybe it's using like the IR in like the Switch controllers to track you making the motions of jumping rope. It's not. It's like it's weird to say it's a game. It just feels more like an app because it's just you and your little bunny avatar pretending to jump rope. You could just wave your hands around and it'll count as a jump. But all it is just that. It's like, hey, jump maybe 100 times a day. Take a break.
So
Switch your
it
outfits.
wants big arm motions.
I was even getting some with like smaller motions, like
so
rowing an oar.
I was trying it this morning, and I just in the chair, just sitting down, just grabbed it and went like, oh, it wants me to do this. And I was able to do it sitting down, but I was like, okay, well, this is dumb, and stood up and started trying to do jump rope motions, and it just wasn't picking it up. And
how wide were you swinging your arms?
I was doing real tight. I was keeping it tight. And so I don't know if it wants me to like do it fucking crazy or what, but I was, doing it like you would jump rope. And it just wasn't registering at all. I was pissed.
Can you miss? Like, can it virtually hit your feet? No.
No.
Okay.
It's just the bunny will jump as it's like kind of timing to your swings or whatever. There's no penalties at all. But if you want something to kind of maybe incentivize you to jump rope, if it works for you,
it's a good exercise.
I'm gonna have to try it again. Yeah, I don't know. I gave up and played some Clubhouse games instead.
Oh. Go on.
It's
to work out in that club.
I was very worried about the single player aspect of Clubhouse games because I don't really have other people here that want to play a lot of those games, but as online support or stuff too. But I was curious to see if it had any single player stuff, and it seems to have a significant quantity of it. So so I don't know. I just fired it up. Just got my hands on it this morning. And yeah, it's got slot cars. It's got fucking Shanghai style, like a Mahjong solitaire. Sometimes it's hard to find like a game that is a game, but they have come up with, or they're using like the generic, non-copyrighted version of what it is. Like I'm pretty sure Othello is in there, but it's not called Othello, and it's not even called Reversey. I'm pretty sure it's called Renegade.
Renegade.
Othello copyrighted?
Othello is copyrighted,
Huh.
so most games when they have to use it, they call it Reversey, but I don't know if that's also copyrighted. But I don't know, for whatever reason they call it Renegade in there. But yeah, I like the idea of. I think my wife and I are going to try. I'm going to teach her the rules of Othello, and we're going to.
Hey, takes a moment to learn, a lifetime to master.
Whoa.
Well, we've got all the time in the world here, so we're ready to go.
Were you saying there's like some precedent for this series on some other?
Yeah, it was on
3DS.
DS.
Or
DS or 3DS.
I think it's DS.
Yeah,
the long-running Clubhouse games
Clubhouse
franchise.
games. Yeah, and people loved it there. So
Okay.
it was cool to see it come out on Switch.
It's just a really solid game, like not mini game, but like game collection. It's just like pretty by the books, just boom, snappy.
Hey, this is 51 games, and they've got like curling and a little toy tennis, and there's like some that are more action oriented, and some that are just like it's got solitaire, it's got stuff, so it's a really strong variety of games. I think the UI and packaging, like I think that stuff's all pretty slick too. So
it was the perfect homeroom game. Like in high school, we just have our DSs and play some of that, like that or Mario Kart.
Picto chatting rude images to each other.
No, we do that at the McDonald's.
Got it. Okay, of course.
Shit, I started to say that it gave me pause when I saw this thing was $50, but at 51 games, that's less than $1 a game. So
it's true.
There you go.
Value.
Value.
What can you say?
Think of the savings. But yeah, it's I have barely touched it. Just got a hold of it this morning, and
Cool.
Seems cool
All right.
so far.
All right. Nintendo Switch still doing it. Chat says it might be $40. Maybe I have that wrong. That's even less than.
Even more of a deal.
What?
Wow.
Maybe it's 40. I don't
The
know.
deal keeps getting better.
That's right. You can't turn this one down. Nor can you turn down this break that we need to take right now.
Sounds great.
We will be right back and talk about some more stuff. We'll see you then. PlayStation the 5th. It exists.
PlayStation 5.
It exists. Yes, we were talking about that quintuple,
Yep.
and it's coming
It's
out.
real.
We've seen it.
And it's huge.
It's a large console, and I think it. The more I think about it, the less I like the way it looks.
Oh, come
Big
on.
chunk.
I don't
I'm
know,
going the
man.
opposite.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I like them both. I like both the new boxes in their
Yep.
own unique way.
They're both audacious. I'll give them that. I think they are
Yes.
both just like, fuck it, man. We're doing this.
Every
What's
time I
up?
look at the PS5, I get a little more excited that they went with that. And also, now that people are trying to size it up and determine just how big it is and coming across just how big it is, I'm getting even more excited by this gigantic fucking V-shaped nonsense. It's so
he has
fucking
come
crazy.
too.
So I had assumed that this was the case, but you said somebody from Sony was on record today saying like they made it that big for heat reasons.
Might not have intentionally been on the record, but GameSpot picked up this story via VG247 that the VP of UX design, Matt McLaurin, replied to a commenter on LinkedIn who was wondering why it was so big. And the reply was, thermals. This gen is little supercomputers. While the 7-nanometer process delivers amazing heat performance for the power is very extreme.
Yeah,
Very extreme.
I mean, he's not
power.
he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Like it. I mean, it is. It's like a fucking well-equipped gaming PC in a tiny box,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally.
You can only make that so small.
Yeah. So that maybe, I think, and I bet that they heard it a lot about the jet engine-like effects of the PlayStation 4. So if they can overcorrect on the size and get a cooler, quieter device, then
I've never understood the
Hey.
obsession with super thin, tiny consoles. Like people got shelf
They're
space,
cute.
right?
They're cute. I don't actually.
I'll
I need them
take-
to fit into little rectangles like this big, and if they don't, I got to find space for them. And I don't have it on top of my TV.
I'll take big and quiet over
All right.
little.
Just duct tape
and
it to the
loud.
back of your TV.
yeah, wall
Like that
mounted.
picture of the guy at the LAN party playing CSGO on the roof, like duct tape to a
There you
vent.
go.
Just do that to your consoles.
Yeah, problem solved.
Gosh, I don't even know where to start with this thing. Do you think it comes with the stand? It has to, right?
Yes.
I would
Oh,
hope
it has
so.
to.
Like it.
Yeah.
Am I mistaken? Like I feel like all the angles they've been putting out, I just feel like I'm staring at a Salvador Dali painting or whatever. Like I can't like wrap my head around the physicality of that thing. But it looks
Yeah.
like to lay horizontal, both models need a stand. Is that correct?
Maybe, I don't know. The PS2 they sold vertical stands and horizontal.
The
stands,
horizontal stand is
so,
back.
Yeah, so
Truly,
we're finally
truly celebrating the grand history of the PlayStation brand.
definitely, man. I mean, like you say that, but I'm fucking psyched at how dumb that is. Like, yeah. I don't know if they have to include both stands or what the situation ends up being there. I doubt they would default to it being vertical. So if they were going to sell one stand, I assume it would be the vertical stand. That's
Okay.
traditionally, I think, how they did it, at least in the U.S.
Are we sure it's not one stand that works?
That was my impression.
both
Really?
ways.
Okay. I guess I'd have to look at the pictures and maybe, okay, maybe that makes more sense. If it's just a single stand.
Maybe I can't say for sure for the digital edition. Also, they're making a digital edition without a disc drive.
Yeah.
But at
Yeah.
least for the one with the disc drive, it looks like it has to have some kind of stand because that thing bulges out underneath.
Yeah,
from
it's
what I can
a-
tell,
yeah,
it's
totally.
strange. It's fucking
It's
weird.
a weird shape. You can't quite. It's the first non-Euclidean console,
Right.
Somehow,
It's
yeah.
bigger on the inside than it is on the
Yeah,
outside.
Jim Ryan's in there holding a press conference right
That's,
now.
that's right.
I can't believe someone said it while we were streaming it, and I was like, oh haha. But like, there were people that really thought that all those guys were CG rendered in that thing.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no, no.
It was.
Yeah.
I think it was a combination of like
just weird lighting on
weird
their green
lighting,
screens because everyone had to film at home, so
and then
everyone
they were
looked
probably
weird.
shot at like 60 FPS, and then they were presented in a lower FPS that could throw things off too. Like I think it was just a lot of weird factors at play.
I would love to know
Yeah.
if they shipped like a green screen kit to every one of those presenters. Just like here's a camera and a green screen. Set this up. We want everybody to look as uniform as we can.
Some lights.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that what they announced and what they went through, like, you know, we talked about it at the time, but like, you know, Sony didn't really have a lot of information out there about, you know, like forward facing consumer information, right? It was like, hey, let's talk about your ears and whatever else. Um, and it was nice to see a bulk of information about games that will be coming to the console. I think they did really well at showing things that more closely approximated real gameplay.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I think after the fact, like given some time to sift through it all, you definitely start to look at what they showed and go like, oh, most of these games are not coming out this year. What does launch look like for PS5? And then all the kerfuffle around the nature of that Spider-Man game certainly didn't help.
I'm still only mostly sure where we're even at with that at this point.
So it is.
I know that, and some also like Sony executives, or a Sony executive said something that implied that
it was remastered.
Well, we should say what it actually is. It's Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is the name of the game.
Great name for a video game.
Expansion? That's branding, man. You just layer them on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they announced it, and it seemed like it was a full-on new game during the presentation. And then
they led with it. They were like, "Here's the new Spider-Man." You're like, "Oh, awesome!" You know,
second game they showed. The first game they showed was GTA 5.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Sorry, yes, Grand Theft Auto 5.
But a Sony executive made some comments that made it sound like it was an expansion to a remastered version of the original game, and then Insomniac got out there and said this is a standalone. I'll just read the Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales is the next adventure in the Marvel's Spider-Man universe. We will reveal more about this standalone game at a future date.
But it still sounds like it is perhaps more of a
First Light kind of.
Sony,
like an
Sony
infamous First Light, or like a Uncharted Lost Legacy or whatever.
Like I forget what Lost Light was, but I mean Last Light. Wait, First Light?
First Light.
First Light, Lost Legacy.
Where you play as Fetch.
Yeah, right. First Light has been a while, but Lost Legacy was a $40 game, so like yes, standalone game, but also not like a full price thing. But at the same time, that was like easily an 8-10 hour thing. Like it didn't feel short to me. So this could very well be pretty substantial, even if it's not like a full priced proper sequel.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Infamous was not. Infamous First Light was a decently length game, also. But but I think that might be a better. If we think about the type of game that Spider-Man is and the stuff they have shown off when they were doing tech demos and whatever else, like Infamous was like, hey, we have this city already. Let's set a new adventure in it.
Yeah.
And I suspect that's what Spider-Man ended up being, because I think that's what makes the guy's comments make sense. The guy that, clearly did not get his talking points before going and doing that interview when he said it was remastered and all this other stuff. Like, okay, they'll remaster the city. It's still New York, because of course it is.
Right.
And so it's a remaster and expansion on top of that. I think the thing for me is, and I guess it won't. But I was going to say, like, does it have the content of the first Spider-Man game in there?
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. If they're calling it standalone, then yeah. So yeah, they didn't do themselves any favors with that stuff, or the person who gave that interview and caused all this confusion did not do that game any favors after the fact. But they seem to have clarified it just well enough for it not to be a huge problem. At the same time, like having a thing that might be a more of a budget game being the thing you're leading off with.
Yeah,
that's when you start getting into like, okay, well, what are they launching with? How substantial is it? What are we getting here? And I think those are the questions you start to see form. But at the same time, like, hey, like I thought the stuff they showed of that Spider-Man game looked pretty nice. I thought the stuff that they showed with Ratchet did a good job of starting to show what you might be able to do with a very fast hard drive. Very fast SSD, a very like built around that idea of, hey, we can stream this shit in super fast and not have to load it and do all that stuff. Like they showed what they needed to show to start to illustrate some of those points, I think. And I thought that was effective, really effective.
I'm trying to think. Like it was Ratchet, it was Spider-Man. There's a new Horizon game, Forbidden West. And I think that's it for full-on proper first-party games, unless the Demon Souls remake finally got announced, and maybe that's also, I guess that would also be full-on exclusive, right?
Yeah,
New
that's-
Astrobot.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
So
new
a
Astrobot.
couple.
Sackboy.
Sackboy. Yeah, you're right. So
Sackboy.
there's a couple like maybe smaller games, but
They
quite-
got timed exclusives
Right.
for Deathloop.
that's what I
and-
was gonna say. Is it's a lot of third-party stuff that is somehow temporarily exclusive. We don't know how
Yeah.
long. If that's 30 days or 6 months or who
Yeah,
knows.
yeah. Oh, Gran Turismo.
Yes,
as well.
Gran Turismo.
They-
Right.
I love, like, like they showed They actually showed a lot of Gran Turismo, and I think they showed the right stuff. I just love that, like, they're like unveiling GT7, and they're like, look at this garbage ass menu. That's how you know it's a real game, because this sucks. Like every other Gran Turismo game, here's some dumbass map, and it says here's home, and here's this, and just like here's all these trash ass UI elements we cram into these Gran Turismo games every time. That's fantastic.
Cars still look pretty good.
The cars look great.
Cars
The
look
lighting
better than
around,
ever.
the lighting looks great. Like it looks real nice.
Better and wetter than ever.
Just like me.
Oof. I mean, I will say personally, the more I think about this thing, the more that the games that really stuck with me were more kind of indie cross-platform games that just happened to get unveiled here.
You just want to
Yeah.
talk about bug snacks, huh?
Dude,
That's all you want to talk
talking,
about.
I'm talking about bug snacks.
My weenie hands.
Oh, you talking bug snacks? 100 bug snacks. That's how many bug snacks that game's gonna
They're
have.
bugs, but they're also snacks. I just fucking the strongest Viva Pinata vibes off the first like 20 seconds of that trailer
Right?
that I could have possibly gotten.
Yep.
And I'm still not entirely sure what kind of game it is, but I don't care.
Yeah, I trust them. I'm ready.
I want to make the bug snacks kiss and make more bug snacks.
Do you think when their lips touch, they bug snack out on their
Maybe.
mouth?
Oh man.
I honestly Phil Tibbs, if you're listening, like I have been on the cusp of wanting to just ask him what they're making for like years at this point.
Yeah. Same here.
But I didn't want to, I didn't want to
Yeah.
overstep. I was like, if he wants to talk about it, he'll talk about it when they're ready. But
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
I think there are like character names in bugs like
Did they put out like
Elizabeth Megafig.
did they put out like ancillary information that I have not
Yeah.
seen?
Snacktooth Island.
Okay.
Um
Oh wow, there's like PC Store pages up for this game now.
There are, yeah. Explore the diverse biomes of Snacktooth Island to track down and reunite the inhabitants of Snacksburg.
Okay.
Yeah, there are just a lot of really good character names and stuff across the board
Yeah,
in Bug Snacks.
I hope they went real hard on the animal food portmanteau type stuff.
Yeah, I guess I don't see any
Straw
any
beetle
real
or
information about the
something.
names of the individual bug snacks now that
Yeah.
now that you mention it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a bunch of really solid names. Discover, hunt, and capture all 100 different species of bug snacks
Okay.
using a variety of contraptions and bait.
Oh man.
Oh, it's like
do you mate
it's like an ape escape.
do you mate them after
They're
you
an
catch
ape
them?
escape.
I don't. Is there a mating dance involved? Stuff your new friends with bug snacks to customize them with countless new looks.
I love stuffing my friends.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess the story is you get invited to the island by Elizabeth Megafig, and when you get there, she is missing, and her camp is in
Oh, no.
shambles.
Okay.
So you have to figure out.
She got eaten.
What
by bug
happened?
snacks.
Yes,
And they turned into her.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
If I can just do a little bit of gardening along the way, I'm good. That's all I need.
Let's hope.
I think Little Devil Inside looked charming as hell.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that looked really cool. Like, a lot of good. Like
Mhm.
Stray, I thought was super striking.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm personally really excited for Tokyo Ghostwire.
Yeah, that looked way
that
better.
looked neat.
I mean, nothing against Tango Gameworks, but like Evil Within was cool, but not super cool, and didn't really do that much for me. But like, this looked way more stylish and interesting than I expected from them.
The finger guns in that game. Oh man.
Hitman 3 got confirmed.
Yeah.
It looks pretty damn
I'm
good.
so excited for that story conclusion.
Most dangerous mission yet.
All kinds of stuff. It was a pretty strong showing.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a lot of friends that like after the when was the Xbox or the Microsoft presentation? Like about
like late
a month
May,
and a half
I
ago.
think. It's kind of mid-late
Yeah.
May, mid-May, something
Yeah.
like that.
Like I didn't see any buzz from like my social groups at all about it, but after like this presentation, like maybe it was like the time, like it's around E3 time ish that like I had a lot of friends kind of expecting something big, but then like all of social media for like my friend groups just blasted with PS5 stuff and bug snacks.
I mean, to be fair to Microsoft, like Sony has held more back for longer. You know, like Microsoft showed us what the box looked like what 6 months ago at this point, or something
like that. Yeah,
they've been out there with more info, so Sony there was probably just more pent up demand for PlayStation stuff,
But you know, Microsoft didn't do themselves any favors with that last event.
No,
I mean,
definitely.
You know, they and I think splitting the third party and first party stuff. Like, I get that they want to try to have a regular cadence of events, but I feel like the Sony event, maybe I wonder if that will change anything about their approach, the reaction to the Sony event, I guess I should say.
Just a much bigger like cross section of types of games at this, I think. Than
like it had a
like I remember a lot of edginess from the Microsoft thing, and this is a lot more something for everyone. I feel like
this felt like PS2 era in a lot of ways. I think, and you know the types of games being shown, like relatively colorful stuff along the way, like it had this kind of throwback vibe to it that like. Though they didn't necessarily talk a ton about they opened with like their little montage about the legacy of the PlayStation or whatever the hell else. But I think the games that they chose to show here, the third party stuff that they picked, I think it was a good array of games. It was refreshing and nice. That said, like, you know, I still really want to see what the hell Halo ends up being.
Totally. Totally.
So, you know, they've certainly got stuff to say too, but
absolutely.
But you know, you're right. Sony held back longer, and I think what they came with was strong.
Held back longer, came out stronger.
Yeah,
that's the. Yep. There's a quote out of Jim Ryan since that thing that's worth reading.
Please let me out of this PlayStation 5. Oh God, I'm trapped.
It's very hot. It's very hot in here.
Yeah,
I'm melting.
Piss.
Damn it.
This is about the price. Jim Ryan did an interview with BBC in which he said this. Conventional wisdom and history show that our business is one of the most recession-proof businesses. But I think this will sharpen our need to ensure that what we focus on getting the. I'm sorry. Let me try that again. But I think this will sharpen our need to ensure that we focus on getting the value equation right, and I emphasize value as opposed to price, which I feel like is a pretty telling quote.
Yeah, that's like
not going to be cheap.
Like, look at what you're getting.
Right.
Look at this. It's shaped like a cool V.
Yeah, and honestly,
of course it's $600.
I wonder what that says for backwards compatibility. They haven't announced much in terms of that, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, I wonder if that might be something that is included. They could say, hey, you're getting 2 past generations worth of software.
You tell me if this is premature, but I feel like my hopes for like the grand tapestry of PlayStation backwards compatibility are fading pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I feel like if that was really in the cards, they would have come out with that.
They would have been up front with that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the some of the branding and stuff. Like they opened with that thing honoring the legacy of PlayStation and showing all the way back to PS1, and you halfway expect them to come out and say like, and you can play all those games.
I mean, like the presentation started with the boot up of the PlayStation 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was like, "Fucking, here we go! All right, they're gonna show."
I got excited.
They're gonna show sticking a PS1 disc in this thing, and it works.
That's just Adam Boyes comes back to hand a PS1 game to Shu, and then they put it in, and it just loads, and they go, "Oh shit!" And then boom, cut to black.
Yeah. And if you had that, would you lead with it?
No, I don't know.
I probably would.
I feel like a lot of people outside of like the hardcore industry would go wild for that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, 100%.
Nostalgia is a very potent force to play on, for better or worse.
Yeah. And
it's not just nostalgia, though. Like it is a value add.
Oh, it is. Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And also it, by just the nature of how this stuff will work, it'd be a value add for the disc, the version of the console that has a disc drive on it.
Yep.
And so that's another case where, like, if they wanted to find reasons to say, here's why it's $100 difference and not $50 difference, you don't get any of the backwards compatibility stuff on the disc-free console or something like that. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be the first time they've done something like that, right? Like I'm trying to think.
I thought all the PS3s were backwards compatible at launch. It was just they eventually phased it out.
I could have sworn it was only the 60 gig. Like the 40 gig didn't have it.
I think it was just the 60 gig,
or something like that.
I do not remember.
I forget. I expected we would get a bunch of PS5 email questions. I mean, technically we did, but they were practically all the same question of
What's
people.
up with bug snacks?
Yes, exactly. They all just said, "Would you be talking about bug snacks?" No. Like 99% of the questions were, "How much cheaper do you think the digital edition is going to be?" Specifically, like, do you think they will discount it dramatically as a way of just getting people into their digital ecosystem and recoup on all the games they will have to buy directly from Sony?
I don't think like if you think about where digital purchases have been trending even before everyone was at home, like we were already heading in that direction in a real way. So I don't think they need to force it, because I think it's just happening naturally over the course of this generation. Sales on digital storefronts have been getting better and more frequent.
Yeah, Sony's been really good about some deep ass discounts on a lot of games.
Yeah, I don't think they're quite at a Steam level.
Not
You know,
quite.
they're not having like a Steam sale, but like around the holidays and some of the different stuff throughout the year, like they have decent discounts. So
Yeah.
I feel like they're already.
I got Days Gone for like $12.
Yeah.
I got Uno for
I
$2.99.
got nothing from you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like $11 too much. But so yeah, I don't. I feel like they're kind of like just heading in that direction naturally, and they don't need to goose it with a discless console. And so I don't know that they necessarily are you know, they benefit for sure, but also they benefit from every new disc-based game sold also. I don't think that they need to kill off used games quite as dramatically as other people seem to,
Especially the way that a lot of
GameStop
games
is doing
are,
that by themselves.
exactly. Like it's, you know, and Amazon does use games, other people do, but
Plus,
like
most games are monetizing beyond the initial purchase at this point, or
Right.
a lot of them are anyway.
Yeah,
I would be shocked if the discless version is more than $50 cheaper.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I would say 50 at most.
I
Personally,
think 50 makes sense from a, like, you know, if you look at the parts and all that sort of stuff, like I think that's sensible, but also I still don't think $50 is enough to matter.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're not coming out and saying this is $100 cheaper, is that a meaningful price cut for enough people to where it feels like it softens the blow of if the high end version is you know, $600?
right?
Yep. If it's $600 and the other one's $549, like $549 is still quite a lot of money.
I think it definitely makes a difference for some people, especially if you're somebody like me who at this point is kind of resigned to an all digital path. Like I have no interest. If it was $25 cheaper, that doesn't really change my opinion, just because I don't have the desire to have physical media anymore.
Well, I'll tell you this: some publishers are probably going to send us games on disc.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, we have to.
so
deal
for
with
you
that.
personally, I might.
sure, but I mean, like, you know, I know there's other people who don't work in the industry who are like me on that front.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and also I think the version without the drive looks nicer. It's a more
it definitely does.
fully realized version of their
It's
design.
so weird that it's on the bottom.
Yeah.
If you're like doing the horizontal and it's on the, I don't like that
Yes.
at all.
I think it
Strange.
would look crazier if it was on top. If it was just this warped bump.
I'm just thinking
popping
from a
out the
pure
top.
like I'm bending down to where my consoles are, and now I have to look under the part where it sticks out to put a disc in. Not for me.
It's weird. It's weird.
So you think $5.99 for the disc version,
That's my guess.
based on what he said?
I
hope
based
not.
on what he said,
Maybe
like,
from, I don't know, man. I feel like no less than $4.99 with a quote like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no less than certainly. But also like $5.99 is not the same amount of money as it was last time they did it.
Yeah.
And but also I don't think Microsoft will come in that high.
I didn't realize this until this stuff has all come back up, and I was going back and looking at old news stories that they have been eating. Maybe not now, but at launch, they were eating a loss on Xbox One X's. Like they were
Really?
selling, they were selling,
I
which is the
remember
first
reading
time,
that, yeah.
first time like a company has done that in a while, right?
yeah.
So Microsoft crossed that bridge already. Like I'm super curious to see if like that's their answer to Sony's strong showing is like, well, check this out.
And I think that's why you didn't get a price here, and why the price is going to be that like last minute, like, oh, they're playing chicken with each other on the price stuff.
Yeah.
It really seems that way. And
Not only is Microsoft just a massively bigger company with more cash in the bank, but Game Pass is like a pretty strong factor at this point, right? So
Yeah,
like they can extra justify if we can, especially if they're rolling out like a $20 a month or whatever, like payment plan style package. Pay us $25 a month and you get the Series X and Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah, they seem like they're better aligned to maybe subsidize the cost of the box or take more of a hit on the price of the console just to get more people in the ecosystem. I think, like, especially if you look at kind of just how the Xbox One, how this generation has gone for them, like they are in a position where they probably want to be aggressive there to just get back to where they were in the generation before that. So
I also think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, I think you're right that they are playing chicken with each other, but they're also probably hesitant to, if the price is $600 or something like that, with the, you know, we have record unemployment numbers and stuff. Like, I wonder if not for all this COVID stuff, if we would have gotten the price already. Like, you know, it's a lot easier when the economy is in a better position to say, like, here is this expensive
people have gone back and looked, and at this point in the last cycle, they had announced prices.
Sure.
Yeah, but you have quotes out of Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer, both relatively recently, both kind of commenting about the gaming industry being relatively recession proof. And so I think they both are coming in feeling confident that they can move hardware, especially at launch, right? I mean, you know, the quantities that they'll probably have day one, month one, whatever it is, there will be enough people that can afford that number of consoles to sell through, I think. No matter how many, you know, whatever reasonable number they can make for launch, like they'll sell them.
They do tend to be somewhat supply constrained at the beginning, right?
So in that sense, I think they'll sell them for, you know, whatever they charge, within reason, obviously, but they can't then have a really fast price cut without angering a bunch of people and all that stuff too. It's mess. It's a real mess. But yeah, with that quote from Jim Ryan, like I wouldn't have thought that $599 seemed like a realistic price. I would have thought that like, $549 is probably the upper limit here. But
I mean, that's the meme, right? The $600 Sony console.
Yeah, like, but like what again? Like
I know that's a very small fraction of the audience and stuff, but like they know.
They know. But you know, but also it's just the reality.
Sure.
Of like how much is this stuff going to cost for them to make, and how much of a hit can they afford to
take? They have to make money.
Speaking of $599, there's another quote from this interview that kind of harkened back to that stuff. And like, granted, I mean, I know he means this. He has the best intentions saying something like this, but he describes the value proposition that they are trying to create as something that, quote, makes this something that our community aspires towards. And just the word aspires really reminded me of the, like, you will want to get a second job to get a PS3.
Yeah, like saying console ownership is aspirational is that sounds like a code for this is going to cost a whole lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's going to cost a whole lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Yep. The Xbox will also cost a whole lot of fucking money, but I strongly suspect it will cost somewhat less. than a PlayStation 5.
That's,
I don't know.
like you make a pretty strong argument. That's what won the last generation for Sony, right? PS4 was more powerful and cost less.
Oh yeah,
like that's a pretty.
I think the Xbox kind of marketing stuff definitely, or the way they announced it and had to backpedal on all that stuff.
Sure, there were a lot of
confusion
factors
around that. Definitely was a factor. But at the end of the day, yes, here's a more powerful console for less, and if that's what Microsoft is about to do, I suspect it will go very well for them.
Yeah.
They have a lot to gain.
Yes.
From that.
Yeah, they do. And it gets right. Yeah, exactly. It gets right back into, Microsoft as a services company, and, Windows 10 being the last version of Windows, and or whatever else, whatever else they end up doing.
Just gotta get you in that ecosystem.
Yeah.
Start monetizing your ass.
Like, get you a Game Pass subscription.
Please don't monetize my ass.
Sorry, Ben.
Yeah.
Too late.
All right.
Assets ready for monetization. Let's go.
Let's move on to some other news here. EA Play is this week. That got pushed a week, as we mentioned last week, and it is Thursday late, I believe.
Yeah, Thursday afternoon, 4 p.m.
They have to have announced Star Wars Squadrons because it leaked, right? Like, surely they
I
weren't.
think that's what happened. Is it leaked on the Xbox like storefront or something like that, and went to a broken page, so EA just confirmed it. And
Yes.
I'm so fucking excited.
Go on.
Okay, I was a console kid, right? I didn't have your fancy X-Wings or TIE fighters when it comes to Star Wars ship games. I had the paltry Rogue Squadron games.
There's nothing wrong with Rogue Squadron.
Which
No.
were good.
At least
if you're
you're
a baby, if you're a damn child,
At least-
Rogue Squadron.
I mean,
I had a Rogue Squadron T-shirt that I got for pre-ordering the game.
Charitably,
babies rattle to go with it.
Charitably, I will say at least it wasn't Rebel Assault.
Yeah. Yes.
It's okay. That's fine. You know what? Like the what was it? What was the GameCube launch game? Was it 2?
Rogue Leader, was that the?
It was the second one, right?
2 or 3.
Like seeing that GameCube launch Rogue Squadron at E3 on some giant ass CRT that I couldn't afford was like a holy shit, man. Next generation video games.
Those were cool. Those were cool games.
That was a cool looking game. But yeah, they put out a cinematic trailer, so you don't know what the actual gameplay looks like. It's a 5-on-5 game. I can't tell if they're like leading with multiplayer.
It seems like they are. I feel like everything I heard about this was focused on the multiplayer, almost like Battlefront.
Right.
You know,
Like
it had a campaign,
yes,
but that was not necessarily.
They reference a single player story in this on this the page they put up, but yes, it does kind of come off as because like Battlefront 2 also had a campaign.
Yeah,
but it does come off like that.
You know, it's a 5-on-5 dogfighting game in space that has VR support.
Yeah,
like it's Eve Valkyrie with X-wings. You know, but
PSVR and PC VR support and crossplay apparently.
Yeah. Which is like a crazy thing. Like EA is so everywhere now in a weird way that like Madden was the lead item on the Steam front page this morning. And I was like, man,
wait, Madden's on Steam?
Madden
what
will be coming to Steam. Everything EA, all the EA stuff's coming to Steam.
Wow.
Now.
But wait, were they doing Madden on Origin?
They were Madden. Madden on PC.
I didn't know there was a PC Madden.
There hasn't been. I don't.
Huh.
There might not have been this. I don't know. They may have done one last year or something like that. But yes, there was a good long time where there was no Madden on PC.
Huh.
The computers just couldn't handle John Madden's pure power.
No, definitely not.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. You tell me if this makes me a jaded asshole. The number of times in that trailer and on this webpage and just in general that they have referenced redirecting energy between shields and engines and weapons. I don't know. I feel like I'm being pandered to.
This game's not going to be
right. That's what I'm getting at. Like it's not that, but I feel like they are gesturing toward that. Like you would. I mean, I'm like to be perfectly frank, you would probably be insane to try to make another one of those games in this mass market position.
Yeah, probably.
Right. No,
that is not a mainstream
but also
game.
like some basic management of shields and hull or whatever.
I'm sure there will be some
like
of that there.
You could do something like that.
I'm sure there will be a little bit of that. Like it feels like a little nod to that stuff, but like
but maybe like a dumbed down take on it.
To me, it feels more like Overwatch abilities or something, right? Where it's like you'll have a few triggers. Like they know people can play shooters and hit some more buttons than they used to. Like there's a lot more games out like that now.
Right.
So some of that.
That's your class ability. It's a switch.
This is definitely
thrusters or power to thrusters.
Right. But it's definitely not a sim.
Not
in the way you're thinking.
Definitely more arcadey.
Yeah. Although chat says that they announced full HOTAS support, so
disgusting.
Maybe it's more of that than I thought. I don't know.
Gross.
All right, we'll get Will Smith back in.
I wonder if they're planning to show actual gameplay on Thursday.
I would assume so.
They're
it's out in
advertising
October,
the
so
full like reveal on Thursday. So
it says it right here. You're right. Yeah, full gameplay reveal at EA Play Live. Okay then.
Yeah,
cool. I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah,
that could be cool.
That's the most excited I've been for a Star Wars game in a little while.
I feel like in my head I know exactly what this game looks like.
Yep.
You know, as soon as they said, "Hey, it's got VR support, it's got this, it's got that," you're like, "Okay, all right." Like I said, they're gonna make an Eve Valkyrie, which was cool. That was a cool early VR game.
Yeah.
But space dogfighting only, to me anyway, is only exciting for so long.
Yeah, kind of with you.
Yeah.
At least in a multiplayer sense.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Without a good story.
It's an X-wing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like a nice
the ship's knee Valkyrie looked
like
cool as hell.
An X-wing with high production values that I can put on a VR helmet and
Yep.
sit inside. There is an appeal there for sure.
Yeah.
Man, we discovered a previously unexpected feature of Stadia last week.
To leak games, yeah.
Leaking
Oh,
playable
boy.
versions of unfinished video games.
Oops.
What is now being said to be the 2019 E3 demo of Gods and Monsters, the Ubisoft game. It seems kind of, based on people who played this demo, kind of half Assassin's Creed, half Breath of the Wild, set
Okay.
in ancient Greece. Became playable on Stadia for like half an hour last week. And a bunch of people played it, recorded videos of it, posted it on the internet.
That's one way to get people excited about an upcoming game.
Yeah. Although, among other things, that has prompted Ubisoft to come out and say that it's no longer called Gods and Monsters,
Yeah, it's great.
really?
which they had not announced previously. I don't know. I guess once
It went up.
people-
Did it go up under the name like Orpheus? or
Orpheus,
something
which
like that?
probably was like the project name or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch any of that footage?
Negative.
Yep.
Some of it got taken down. Some of it I think is
Yeah.
still out there. I mean, I should know better than to like judge the game too much based on such an old early demo.
Yeah. Totally.
But the climbing in that demo is
Straight out of
as Breath of the Wild as it could possibly be. Same circular stamina meter, same everything. So
Gross. Everyone hated that game.
I wouldn't.
Can't
I
believe
know,
they would do that.
I would super in the minority on this one, but like I saw the sentence Breath of the Wild climbing from like the NeoGAF story of when it broke or whatever, and I just was like, oh cool, I don't have to play this game.
I mean, I you know, again, I wouldn't be surprised if they rework that somewhat for actual release. But I guess the HUD, excuse me, the HUD was also right out of Assassin's Creed, so I'm sure a lot of that stuff is just kind of placeholder.
Yeah.
But yeah, the statement they put out is much has changed since the E3 2019 demo in terms of features, tone, art, and character design, and even the name of the game. And they say they're going to show it at quote the end of summer, which sounds like
They have an event.
but that's like midsummer.
Oh.
The Ubisoft Forward thing is kind of early July, I think.
Maybe
So-
they're moving it.
Maybe they're moving that event, or maybe they're showing this at Gamescom. Because
July 12th is Ubisoft Forward. But yeah, maybe
Right.
maybe that'll be.
maybe this is a Gamescom special or something. Anyway, yeah, Stadia had to get out there and apologize. So
That was their last ditch effort to remain relevant.
yeah,
Let's just start leaking games, get people signed up.
Yeah, we got all this stuff.
yeah. So weird,
We got this build of Dead Island 2. Get it up there.
weird situation.
I wonder if it's like I don't know if they would ever sue for like reparations or anything like that, or if that would just like completely sever the business relationship.
I mean, the one nice thing about
Like
Stadia,
if you've got a demo out there and the game isn't like really up to snuff,
well,
you know,
sure, yeah. I mean, you could say they damaged the reputation of the franchise or something, but like, I mean,
Right.
the one nice thing about Stadia, as much as this is apparently a danger, they can also yank it like that and it goes away.
yeah, that's
Like if as opposed to like if a build of the game gets out on the internet, then there's no taking that back.
it lives. Yeah,
So, but yeah, strange situation. Feels like the floodgates just kind of opened on E3 style presentations from all over the place. You know, IGN's doing stuff. The PC gaming show happened. The Guerrilla Collective stuff is ongoing. The Steam Games Festival.
Really seemed like it's been a good week if you like watching announcements of games involving deck building.
Yeah, you know, I'm happy to wait until those games are out personally, but you know, yeah, there's like way more games than we could possibly keep track of out of all that stuff. We talked about Torchlight 3, which got released out of nowhere, as did Persona 4 Golden on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played some of that and realized I don't ever want to play that game again by its rules. And so I've been eyeballing the ever-evolving cheat engine script for it, and thinking maybe give this a go.
You busted out your Vita. You're like, let me get this save transferred over.
Right? Yeah. No. Exactly.
So I can
Honestly,
throw
like,
it away.
The last time I played through Persona 4, it was on a PC and with a whole lot of cheats. So you can do stuff like beat a dungeon the first day it's available, and then have all these weeks to just socialize, and you know, like all this other shit. And
I have to say something.
Go ahead.
I didn't come up with this. Chi-8 engine.
Oh, I hate that.
Okay.
But okay. Chie is a cop. She would never cheat like that.
Now Toe's a cop.
Chie becomes a cop at the spoilers here. That's
what?
She wants to be a cop. The whole thing is she wants to like.
Chie.
It's I always took it as more of like a street vengeance Batman sort of.
Vigilante.
Art is open to interpretations, Jeff. Let me have this.
All right, I'll stop talking about things that happen at the end of the game since some people may have not played it. But okay, you go ahead and have your fantasy dream about Batman Chie.
I will.
Oh shit!
Oh, I will.
Yeah, keep it up. No, I don't know. That game was cool. It's cool that it's on more platforms. You can finally like take your Vita and throw it out a window or whatever. You know.
Oh man!
You guys seen the Vita stuff from Last of Us that went around?
Yeah, I saw the
yeah.
animated GIF
When
of
the embargo broke. You fucking find somebody playing a Vita and straight murder them savagely.
The thing that I saw with that, it was like there was that which I thought was like funny on its own, but then people were like, "See, this is because the American studios hate working with Japan," like trying to link it to this like whatever internal strife Sony has had for may or may not have had for a good long time, and trying to say this is them saying stuff about internal politics at Sony. It's just like that seems like it might be a reach. But so that kind of ruined that moment in a way. But it was very funny to see someone getting fucked up while playing a Vita.
Yes. Does anybody care? I don't even know if I should bring this up. That Persona 4 has De Novo in it. Do people still care about that stuff? Like,
I mean,
I saw that called out on the page. On the Steam
I feel like
store page.
Steam is usually pretty decent at kind of saying, "Hey, this has this has that," and so yeah, there was yes, it has
nothing stops.
Which the review branch that I had to opt into at one point just said De Nubo.
The Nubo,
which was
Jason
pretty
De
good.
Nubo.
Yeah.
What is that? Like $20? I think.
$20.
There's a deluxe edition that comes with like some art and some soundtrack stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty reasonable.
Yeah. A reasonable. Yes. A very much. Yes. A reasonable price for what was a fantastic game. So.
Oh, real quick, we forgot to. I mean, we even talked about Madden and forgot to mention the Madden thing that you saw about upgrades. What was that about?
Yeah. So they announced some of the I guess they've changed some of the details around their upgrade path. So, you know, Xbox has their smart delivery thing where developers that opt into that will be able to, you know, you pay one price, you buy the Xbox One version, you get a Series X later, you just play it there and it'll look better and then be that version of the game and all that other stuff. EA has gone with an approach that's similar to how the that Assassin's Creed game went when it was PS3 up to PS4. But they're not going to charge for it, I guess. Originally, there was like going to be a window, or there still is a window, but I guess the window has lengthened to up until Madden 22 comes out. If you basically, you know, go from one console generation to the next, you will be able to make that upgrade for free. And then that will also be from PS4 to PS5. But the catch there is they said, unless you buy a physical version of the PS4 game and then get a console that doesn't have a drive on it, then we cannot help you. Which I thought was interesting.
Right.
I mean, of course, but also just like having it spelled out and go like, oh, right, yeah. That doesn't really matter all that much, but someone will get caught in that and go, oh, shit.
Like that kind of thing is exactly why I would be afraid to buy the one without the disc, is just getting stuck in some situation where I wished I had one.
Yeah, you could see it for sure, unless there was some weird benefit to the discless console beyond it just looking a little smoother. But yeah.
While we're talking about game announcements, real quick, can I shout out one trailer that I think got kind of lost in the fold?
Sure.
Yeah.
Any of you watched that new Paper Mario trailer.
Oh yeah,
I saw people talking
Yeah,
about
The
it.
Origami King.
I
Yeah.
didn't check it out.
You excited?
Yeah, they finally showed off the combat,
Okay,
which
cool.
like was a big thing because they didn't really talk about it in that announcement trailer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think it looks great. Like the combat seems to be more puzzle focused. Like you're kind of on this bullseye. Like imagine a dartboard, and Mario's kind of on the bullseye, and you have limited time and moves to kind of rotate the enemies around and line them up, and then do the combat, which I think is an interesting take on the system. Because honestly, as much as I love those old Paper Mario games and the Mario RPG games, like I think they needed to change up that combat a little bit, just do something new.
I saw
and
some
fuck-
folks complaining they weren't seeing XP popping off after encounters. It all looked like you just gain coins after fights.
It's hard to know the specifics of
Yeah.
that from the trailer. I don't know. I think it looks great. And then the other thing they showed off are the bosses are like semi photorealistic office supplies. Like you
Huh.
fight a box of colored pencils or
Oh, yeah.
tape.
Stapler.
Just
Huh.
a stapler.
I hate this tape.
I think it looks tremendous.
Yeah.
I can't wait. That comes out in like a month.
Yeah, I was sold on
wow.
that thing with the first trailer. That looks great.
It looks cool.
I hope they bring it because that franchise has been a little bumpy the last couple.
Yeah.
Saw a commentary on how much Nintendo hates working with office supplies.
Yes. Just got to read between the lines, man. It's all there. Two more quick things. PAX finally canceled itself this morning.
Yay!
PAX is canceled.
PAX is
Hashtag
canceled.
PAX is over party. Wait, no.
No.
Um,
Well, that's kind of what they're doing. I mean, they have announced a 9-day live stream.
wait, were you serious about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was a
I
joke.
thought you were joking about it being 9 days
No,
long
like
earlier.
they're doing PAX Online, and it is some fucking super huge. Yeah, I don't know. They will have more details later, but it sounds like it's going to be, all of the stuff that you would see at a PAX basically put together into 9 days of live streaming.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
So
There's another convention that did that. I think MomoCon down in Atlanta. They got caught up in the COVID stuff, and they did, like a series. It was over the course of a weekend, not like a week long. But a bunch of industry vets and stuff, Skyped in or whatever, or Zoomed in. It worked out in a reasonable fashion, I guess.
This says they'll have 3 channels streaming, quote, literally nonstop content, running nonstop each and every day.
Crazy.
So stuff's happening.
I wonder if that means they'll. Yeah, I assume that'll be devs playing their upcoming games. Like bands, probably.
they gotta
like-
still have panels, right?
Panels.
I
yeah.
assume they'll still do some kind of panel thing.
Yeah.
Some kind of panel schedule, which is weird.
It could be good exposure for people to get, PAX is a name that has some recognition.
Yeah.
True.
Obviously, we've got a lot of venues to stream ourselves talking already on the internet, but this could be
Right.
good for some
Yeah.
people to get out in front of a lot bigger audience. So there is that. Last story of the week. There's a new Alex Kidd game coming out.
Cool.
They're making a new
They're remaking.
Guess it's a remake. There's a new product coming out with the name Alex Kidd on it. In case you didn't think things could get
Yeah.
any weirder.
Sega's weird. They'll just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
Sega's got a real hey, why not? If you want to go make a thing, we'll sign that. Because we're definitely not going to make a new Alex Kidd. We're not going to remake Alex Kidd, but we'll certainly take some cut of some money if you do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Merge Games is putting it out. And
Is
Junken Team is the name of the developer,
Sure.
which is
is
pretty
Rock Paper
pretty
Scissors
fucking good.
one of the Clubhouse games?
I don't think so.
Well, there we go.
All right.
There's an opening out there.
Here's the thing. Alex Kidd
Oh.
is bad.
Sucks. It sucks.
No.
So much ass.
Alex Kidd in Miracle World is a bad game.
His
The
little
fact-
kick
I
sucks
played
so much shit.
of it.
I might go so
That
far as
kick
to
can
say
get really powerful.
there has never been a good Alex Kidd game.
Stop it.
Apologies
Stop
to the stream. I just clicked on the trailer and it auto-played an ad, but not even
I
High Tech
wanna hear
Land.
that.
Those games are interesting. occasionally inventive. It's wild that they did Alex Kidd in Shinobi World.
Yeah.
Like they, but they're bad games that I have a fondness for.
Okay.
And so the idea of someone saying, yes, we're going to remake Miracle World. Okay, sure. You could do that.
You can. You are.
Yeah,
Someone
you can.
is.
You
Yeah,
are.
might have.
I don't know.
I get a little defensive about Alex Kidd because Enchanted Castle was one of the 3 Genesis games that I had. For a long time.
I played a fair amount of it. Also, it's bad. It's a bad game.
Stop saying that.
I don't like hearing it.
Some truths just have to come out like that. Like, Alex Kidd's a bad game. Space Jam's a bad movie. Like,
My insides
you
are
have
mad.
to kill. You have to kill them.
I'm sad.
I think this looks nice. I think the art, the visual.
Look at his ears.
The visual. They really went
looks
overboard
okay.
with the ears, but I feel like just the overall visual treatment of this looks pretty damn nice.
Yeah, it does.
It's just very strange that it's happening.
You can switch back and forth between retro and
Yeah. Sometimes you punch open those blocks and there's just a
Yep.
Grim Reaper dude inside who tries to kill you.
Oh my god,
That sucks.
And
I
it
forgot.
sucks.
I forgot how bad some of the Alex Kidd box art is. Holy shit.
Oh, it's
Oh,
great.
it's all so terrible.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh my god, is that really the actual box art for Miracle World?
Yeah.
It literally, it looks
I'm
like a
just gonna say yes. I don't know what you're looking at, but I'm gonna say yes.
it looks like a child's doodle on graph paper.
Yeah.
Like-
But I feel like if you're saying we're going to remake Alex Kidd in Miracle World, there's only so far you can go with that. Before you are just hamstrung by it still has to be Miracle World. And
Yeah.
Man.
That's
I don't know. I am also, that said, incredibly interested to see how it comes out and
Yeah,
what
sure.
they do with it.
Sure.
Because it's such a wild concept to just hey, we're gonna remake Alex Kidd. Sure,
Yes,
I'll
it
look at
is.
that. There's a fan-made Alex Kidd in Miracle World 2 ROM hack
Huh.
that I've been messing around with here and there. That's not great, because
What is it a
it's
hack
still
of?
Alex Kidd. It's a
It's
hack
just-
of original Miracle. It's like new levels
Okay.
for Miracle World.
Gotcha.
New story, new music, all this stuff. They've
Ooh, wow.
they've done a pretty decent job of making a sequel to a terrible game. And you play it and you go oh, it's neat that they were able to do this. Oh wait, all these mechanics still feel terrible, and the kick and
What about the motorcycle?
motorcycles? It was again a great idea.
Couldn't stop. Just
Yeah,
had to keep going.
and then you crash it and you're oh,
Like a
Yep.
shark.
Oh, now I got it.
yeah.
Should really take a look at the Enchanted Castle box art sometime.
Oh,
because
I've
it's
seen it.
it's like a realistic take on the character of Alex Kidd. Just I can't.
Yeah.
We have to stop. This is too much. All
Stop
right.
picking on Alex Kidd.
Yes, he tries his best, I'm sure.
Mhm.
All
It's not
right.
his fault.
That's it for news. We are going to take another quick break, and then we will be back with the emails. We'll see you in a minute. Emails. It is that time again. Let's
Wait.
read. I'm sorry.
Wait, Brad.
Oh, I
I'm
knew.
sorry to
I knew
interrupt
this was
you.
Coming.
You
What?
all know this was coming.
What is happening?
Speaking about surprise
Jan's hijacking the
announcements
podcast.
and trailers,
I gotta go.
The middle spot. I can do this.
What?
Uh,
That's true.
Kingdom Hearts new
Oh,
game
God damn it.
announced.
Right.
Melody of Memory. It's a rhythm game.
Bombcast at giantbomb.com.
I hope Sora has a keytar.
Fuck.
Honestly, I promise this isn't a dig for dig's sake, but I was watching that trailer
Yes.
and I was like, this looks all right. This kind of looks like
Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm is a good game.
Wait, hang on.
I'm like, okay, cool. And there probably maybe some Disney-ish songs in here. I could get down with this. And the second half of the trailer is just all back to Kingdom Hearts cutscene bullshit.
Of
and I'm like,
course.
oh, force all this down my throat. I can't play this game.
Because they're going to stuff important story beats into a rhythm game. That's how it's going to happen. Everything needs every little bit of information
this-
and exposition.
Is this the Final Fantasy theater rhythm of Kingdom Hearts?
I'll take it if I can hear simple and clean and just like swipe along like a
Sure.
lane music
get-
highway.
Okay.
Music in here.
Imagine what the road is going to look like for the Skrillex song.
Mm.
I'm imagining it. Hold on.
It's time for all of us to face our fears.
Yes.
I refuse.
Yes. Sorry, I just typed the
Facing
word
my fear right now.
Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts.
You
Into
thought Last of
Google.
Us 2 was brutal.
Just wait and see what Donald Duck will do to these tracks.
This Polygon story says 2 new Kingdom Hearts games will arrive.
Two
later
new
this year. Apparently, one of them is on mobile.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's where all the story's going to be.
Yes.
actually, yes. It's not.
But that might not
Yeah.
be right.
All right.
Yes,
No,
Donald Duck does not have pants, but by the end of the game, you'll realize that the reason he doesn't have pants will move you to tears.
Fuck. I'm gonna cry again, aren't I?
All
We
right.
all
Okay. Thank you for that important update. It's done our due diligence.
I feel
All right.
sick.
Yes.
Emails.
Yeah. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. Send them in there. Edwin in Rochester, New York. I said earlier that all the questions we got about PS5 were about the digital edition. It was more like 99%. I do have a couple of others, such as this one. Edwin says, I've been Team Xbox all the way back to the original Xbox. I also have a capable gaming PC. With Microsoft's business model that all first-party titles are now coming to PC, would I be crazy not to switch to Sony for the next generation? I'll never be able to justify buying both consoles, but in theory, I will be able to play all Microsoft exclusives on my PC, but there are likely to be many high-quality PS5 exclusives that never come to any other platform. Thoughts? Like that is exactly what I would recommend.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got a PC and you can play those games there, then that seems like a reasonable way to go. I mean, like I'm interested in the Series X, but at the same time, like I will probably upgrade my PC at some point too, and it's already reasonably powerful. So I may end up in a situation not too long after that thing launches where it's like, oh, the PC is still the best way to play these games.
Right. I guess the one caveat here is that Xbox
The
game-
Windows Store. If you're trying to download PS2 and it
That's
comes
actually-
in like 100 megabyte chunks,
That's
and
a
then it
valid-
just times out,
That is a valid
and it
point.
takes you 2 fucking weeks to download the goddamn game,
That is-
then maybe get an Xbox.
That's a valid point. The other thing I was going to say is Xbox Game Pass still has a lot more games than PC Game Pass.
Oh, that's
So
true.
if you want in on the full brunt of the Game Pass value, like you kind of need an Xbox still for that.
The other thing I was thinking is you lose out on playing multiplayer games with other friends on a Series X, but aren't a lot of games like becoming cross-platform?
A lot,
Like,
a lot of crossplay.
Yeah.
Even
Like-
now.
Yeah,
Minecraft
like Gears
Dungeons,
5 was.
Gears 5,
yeah,
like Sea of
Minecraft
Thieves
Dungeons
is
yeah.
Sea of Thieves is crossplay.
yeah,
Rocket
so-
League.
yeah.
Warzone.
Yes.
But we're talking specifically like first-party stuff, I
Yeah.
guess. But yes, yeah, all
Whatever.
that stuff. Yeah.
Rocket League.
If you have a good PC and you can only get one of the two, I feel like the PS5 is probably the sensible choice, personally.
Yeah. Though a lot of those games will also come to PC, so then it boils down to: do you care about Sony's first-party output?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
I still happen to think they make a lot of good games. Let's see. There's an interesting one from Rai Rai.
Bye.
With Sony starting a new generation with a strong focus on digital distribution over the retail market, do you think that moves the needle on the platform carrying unrated or AO titles? Will Robert Yang finally be able to make PS5 games?
No.
Yeah. I'm
Right.
with you.
No, I mean the platform holders have been the ones preventing AO games from getting like greenlit for their platform in the first place.
Yeah.
And then down the line from that, you have the retailers that would say like, well, we're not going to carry any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little symbiotic, and without one, the others. But no, there's no there's little to no appetite as far as I can tell from like a Microsoft or a Sony or a Nintendo to allow AO games on the store.
Yeah, I think they're still
appetite's there,
way
but-
too.
Yeah.
Sure it is, but they are definitely still very image conscious about, projecting an air of family friendliness, right?
Yeah, it's just not there's not enough money in that for it to be worth it for them,
Right.
anyway.
They'd rather stick to just gruesome murder.
Yeah,
The
that's
last
perfectly
season,
fine.
instead of sweet anime lovemaking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Do I have any other PS5 questions? There's one other one. Jack from Tallahassee. The PS5 event was a success by any standard, but one interesting thing is how many games they previewed that are timed exclusives. The list of games also coming to Xbox seems to include almost every big game other than Spider-Man and Horizon, including Ghostwire, Project Athia, Deathloop, etc. Didn't we all decide that timed exclusives are generally stupid after Xbox took Rise of the Tomb Raider for 6 months? What are your thoughts on them, and how much money did Sony pay just to create what now feels like a fake narrative? They've got all these games that the Series X won't have. It looks, in retrospect, like the only launch window exclusive they'll actually have is Miles Morales.
I think that if you are having trouble filling a slate with your own games and you want to find ways to make people interested in your console over the other one, then out of the gate you maybe make a couple of those deals.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
Microsoft has been pretty consistent, at least lately, about not loving the timed exclusive thing, but. Yeah, I guess I'm not too surprised to see like at the start of a generation, like people, them going back to some of these old habits, and using that to try to establish an early difference between them and the other console.
Yeah,
it's not great, but
I'm sure it
But
did
yeah,
the
also
job.
like I don't think they established a false narrative. I think if you're paying attention, like obviously all third party games are going to end up. For me, the surprise was, oh, these are timed exclusives. Like coming out of that thing, I was like, oh, it's cool. They're showing third party stuff that'll end up everywhere.
Right.
And then it was like, oh, okay, it's not going to end up there day and date, huh? Well, that's a little frustrating, but so I think that was the more surprising thing that they were going to do that. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, I mean, some of it is how long is the exclusivity? Like
Right.
30 days is kind of whatever. Like the full year that Rise of the Tomb Raider got is a little bit more irksome.
Right.
Or quite a bit more, I should say.
Yeah.
But we will see. Justin from LA, just keeping with this theme. Although, and I will say up front, I am mostly reading this email to disagree with it. Although some partisanship still lingers around the Xbox One and PS4, we can all see that the console wars are not as fashionable as they were in the Sega versus Nintendo era, or even 360 and PS3.
I mean,
was there an inciting incident that brought about the end of console fanboy wars? Do you remember the moment when you noticed it wasn't much of a thing anymore? I feel like it is like raging as much as ever.
it's exactly the thing. I think the thing that
some
changed
people are
is
growing out of it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
is a lot of people realize that all those people are assholes.
Yeah.
And don't engage with them. But like that stuff's still out there. Like go look at anything that Phil Spencer ever tweets.
Dude, that's exactly what I was going to say.
And look at the responses from people that are like their whole profile is just like, fucking, I'm Xbox Will. And I love Xbox.
Yeah.
I bleed green, bro.
The opposite last week. I saw like there was an Aaron Greenberg tweet that I looked at the responses to, and it was nothing but Sony fans like talking a bunch of shit at him.
Yeah, that too. To be fair, if it's the Aaron Greenberg tweet that I think.
Oh, was it the one where he was like, "Oh, a bunch of these games will also be on the Xbox"? Yeah.
It was like, all right, like, okay, yeah. But I was like, congratulations to Sony. Also, all these games are coming to Xbox. It's like, all right, no shit.
Yeah.
But like, that's.
But I see a ton of that back and forth.
It's not
on
a great
media.
way to frame that. It's not a good look the way he did that.
Sure.
I also think there's
even if it's obviously true.
Way more nerd shit to argue about the same people who would be arguing Sega versus Nintendo years ago now have like Marvel versus DC and
MP3 versus Wave.
Yes.
Also, there's a lot more ammunition out there now. There's like the Digital Foundries of the world are putting a bunch of big fat numbers on things that just about anybody can grab and run with. So yeah, I don't know. That to me, that stuff looks as contentious as it ever has.
Make mine Mopar. That's what I'm saying.
But that shit remains incredibly stupid.
Yeah, I think that the thing that's changed is I think there are more people out there that realize that all of those people are fucking garbage. Like it's not worth engaging. Like why would you ever engage with any of those people? On either side, even in a positive way, I think that it's like, oh, well, let's cater to these people because they're our best customers. It's like they're gonna buy that shit no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, if you did, it'd be real hard to shake them loose. So just do right by whatever. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. It's not even worth fucking discussing.
No.
People are fucking dumb shits.
Don't incorporate corporate brands into your sense of identity. All right. Save us, Microsoft, says Jason from Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
With the shit show that is 2020, what would be a better surprise Microsoft drop this summer? A new Summer of Arcade or the return of 1 versus 100?
Oh. Fuck it. It's the most powerful console ever. Give me 1 versus 1,000.
Okay, all right.
Oh.
Let's bring Chris Cashman out of mothballs. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah. Where's
Revive
that
Canadian Dracula.
I would totally show
Yeah.
up for 1 versus 100 again if they brought that back.
Right.
dude? Get Scott Rogowski to host it.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Okay.
Rogo
Ain't no
himself.
baseball. The fuck's he doing?
Gone too soon. 1 versus 100 was.
Yeah.
Let's see. This email's from Steven in regards to the video game bong names question. I've had a small little guy I've had for years that I've affectionately named Glass Joe.
No, that's good.
Not
That's really good.
Yes, not a title per se, but relevant enough to be worth mentioning.
Honestly,
Very
any
good.
of the
It is.
Punch-Out bosses, like
King
Sandman.
King Hippo.
King Hippo, yeah, Mr. Sandman.
Great tiger.
Yeah. Mike Tyson.
You just
Yeah. They'll knock you out.
old Don Flamenco here. I feel like some of these are better
Oda
strains
Popinski.
though.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see here. Cesar from Uruguay. If you wake up at 10 p.m., are you waking up really early or really late?
What time did you go to sleep, though?
That's a good question. He does not
I feel
provide.
like once you've
Late.
crossed into that territory, like there's nothing. You've broken your sleep schedule so
Sleep
much that
schedule,
there is
yeah.
no early or late anymore.
Just go back to sleep.
Yep. If you can. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
For a while, my sleep schedule was like that. Like I would get home from work and I'd actually just pass out and sleep till about like 10, 11 o'clock. Wake up then, and then I'd be up all fucking night. So
longest-
in that case, it was like really early for me.
What's the longest you've ever
That was
slept?
my morning. What's that?
What's the longest you've ever slept?
Oh, 24 hours.
Wow.
Easily.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
You
Probably
get on
like
the right
15, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you get on the right medicine and you can
Sure.
put yourself. Yeah.
Did you wake up with like a beard, like Rumpelstiltskin?
Yeah,
Or-
exactly. Just
Is
like
that who I'm
sniffling
thinking
in
of? No. Who's the old man who fell
Rip
asleep?
Van Winkle.
Rip Van Winkle. Yes. That's what they call me.
Yeah. I watched my girlfriend years ago slept for 23 hours straight, and I was like starting to get concerned towards
Yeah.
the end, but I was like, just leave it be. Stephen from Everett, Washington. Ice cream truck music is kind of creepy. What kind of music would you play from your ice cream truck? I would play dubstep and call my truck Dub Scoop.
Dub Scoop.
Master P.
Okay.
Just
Would it be a
just lot
tank?
of-
Would you just dress up your truck like a tank?
Yes. Yeah, my ice cream tank.
The ice cream tank.
Yeah. Got that ghetto D.
You see the ice cream tank rolling.
Mm-hmm.
See it coming.
Just nothing but blow the whistle by Too Short. And
I
I
would-
sound like
I would-
whistle pops.
I was gonna say I would want to go to that ice cream truck. Like, yes, I want to buy. What are you selling here? Give me some of that.
How about this email is signed Weirded Out Wife. My husband sleeps with socks on even in the summer. I haven't met anyone else who does this. Do any of you sleep with socks on? Why?
Sometimes. Keeps
Yeah.
my feet warm.
I don't know.
It would have to be real cold.
Yeah.
I'm a hot sleeper aneway.
yeah. I
So
agree.
it's like I'm
I think
super
specific-
self-conscious of my feet. I have socks on like all the time.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think
in the
as a-
shower, I got socks on.
Wow.
Not quite that bad, but
I barely can wear socks in the home at all.
Wow.
If I'm home, it's
I'm with Jason. I'm
straight
on
barefoot.
socks on all the time, and I think a lot of it has to do with my feet always stick off the bed. No, I finally have a bed long enough for me, but I still wake up in the middle of the night with my feet poking out. And since I'm sharing a comforter, with somebody else, I'm not going to drag it all the way down there. So it's insurance, foot insurance.
That definitely happens to me, but I feel like I'm just as likely to wake up, have my feet sticking out the bottom, and be like, "Oh, this is great. It's nice and cool out there. Not like it is under here. Oh God, I'm dying. Oh, so hot. Help." So, yeah.
Sean from Pacifica. I was playing a single song on a rhythm game for an hour, trying to full combo it, and after focusing for so long, I decided to put on the Bombcast so I could try to at least use my time a little better. After putting on the podcast, I got the full combo first try. Have you all ever had this happen where you do better at a game while engaging in a distraction?
Yeah, I'm actually playing a rhythm game right now, and I'm doing great
With your feet?
with my feet.
What's
your sock?
I'm sure there's some cognitive reason for it, but I get that with Tetris 99 all the time. Like some of my best games ever in Tetris 99 have been when my mind just started wandering about something completely other than the game and was just going on autopilot and would rank super well. It's weird. I don't know.
I've gone that way with
on one thing at a time. I don't know.
I've gone that way with Bloodborne recently. I'll get lost in an anecdote and do really well on a boss, and then I'll realize I'm doing very well on the boss, and then immediately die because of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just come crashing back down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, oh, I got to focus, and then
Martin from Edinburgh, Scotland. While re-listening to the 2011 Game of the Year Bombcast to hear the Skyrim and Saints Row argument again, Jeff noted that the game Catherine was on his, quote, Majora's Mask list. What are the criteria for this list, and what other games would make it on?
I mean, I would probably put like The Last of Us on there. Bad games. But, I don't know, Catherine. I don't know that I would say Catherine is bad. No, it's definitely not in a Majora's Mask way. But I think the big problem with Catherine is I got to a point where I kind of wanted to see the story, and the gameplay just was largely
Really
in the
got in the way. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was the thing. Like years later, hearing people that are like got esports about Catherine was just like, God, why would you want to play Catherine?
I really like playing Catherine.
Like if Catherine was a visual novel, it would be a better game. Because you could at least just see the story and move on. But yeah, that's yeah, I don't know. Sounds like something I would say, but I don't know.
I think that is my
because
my reaction
Majora's
to-
Mask is so much worse than Catherine that
That's
it's hard
true.
to hard to fathom.
I think that's my reaction just about any time somebody brings up something from a podcast from years ago. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it sounds like
that's
something I would say.
I'm sure I did say that.
Sure, man.
I bet I did totally review spy fiction, if you say so.
Yeah.
Martin in Scotland, didn't we just have one of those? No idea if it's the same one.
Yeah.
Sounds like something we would do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here we go again. in listening to a 2012 Bombcast, Jeff stated that he thought that Pac-Man was about, quote, half the height of Ryu, which has been proven true in Smash Brothers.
Oh, that is true.
That's where they got that from. They listened to that and were like, yeah, that sounds about right. And yeah.
I would have put him 3/4 by looking at the watching the cartoon from back in the day.
And when you look at the amiibo, it kind of
I don't know. In my eyes, he's 3/4 for you.
All right, so as new authorities on video game character heights, please provide estimates on the following. Marcus Phoenix.
it's like
5'2".
Whoa,
I was
a short king.
I feel like he's like
He's
average.
stocky.
He's
He's
like
like
an
a
average
fridge.
6. I bet he's like a 6'1".
I was gonna
How
say
tall-
6'2".
Yeah, like
Yeah,
not,
how tall is
6 foot.
Batista?
not short but not towering.
He wears lifts. You guys are getting tricked.
He's got
How
a
big
low.
is Batista's?
got
Wait,
a-
what were we looking up?
Marcus Phoenix
Height,
got a
height. Oh,
low
sorry.
center
Are
of
you
gravity.
banging that?
Yeah, I'm gonna bing Batista.
All right.
6'6".
What?
He's a wrestler.
Oh,
Wrestlers
Batista.
always
Batista, not
are-
not Marcus Phoenix, right?
No, okay. You know what?
I thought you were going to say that
How
that
tall is
Marcus
Phoenix?
Phoenix has a canonical height.
I'm sure that's been covered somewhere.
It says 6'1" on the Gears of War wiki.
Okay,
according
but he's
to-
lying. He's
Okay.
5'11".
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we got a long list here, so let's keep going. Blink's the time sweeper. Say like a three and a half feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
like
a-
a
just a really
3'8",
big
3'9".
Like a really big cat.
Yeah.
A really big cat.
Not Big the cat though.
No. Big the cat's like 8 feet tall.
He's big.
Oh, he totally
big.
is.
It's right there in the name. Zool.
It's also possible that 6'6" is Batista's working height and not his shoot height.
Sure.
Did you say Zool?
Zool, the alien from the nth dimension.
The intergalactic
4'10".
ninja. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty short.
Same height as Blinks.
Because see,
Same
that's the
height as
thing. Like
Pac-Man.
he goes to that music world and he's like on drums, and the drums appear to be normal size, but he's very small on them.
If you
So
think
Zool-
about the candies that Zool picks up and assume that the candies are normal candy size, then Zool is tiny.
yeah, maybe Zool is tiny. I'm gonna say Zool is tiny. I'm gonna say Zool is 8 inches.
Damn.
I'm gonna say he's more like an inch and a half compared to some of these candies he's collecting.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like a peppermint cone.
A peppermint is like this, man.
No, the candy cane. Like I remember him distinctly
okay,
picking up
yeah,
a candy
okay,
cane, which
candy
is about
cane,
like
yeah.
All
I
right.
typed in how tall is Zool and did not get a good definitive response.
All right, let's whip through the rest of these. Cool spot.
Still cool spot.
3
foot.
inches.
He's pepperoni size.
Yeah, he's like fitting your palm,
size
right?
size of like a bottle cap.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Tiny little spot.
Yeah.
A cool bottle cap.
The coolest bottle.
A mech from Mech Warrior.
Oh,
it's like a size of like a
that we could look up.
3 or 4 story building. Let's
Yeah.
say.
The biggest one, but they're
20
they're-
feet,
Yeah,
Okay,
they're small mechs though.
that's true.
at least 16 tons.
What do
But
you
the
get?
mech from Mech Warrior.
Mm.
Which
mech
mech from
warrior?
mech? Which class of mech?
Yeah, exactly.
We talking Jade
Like
Falcon?
a Mad Cat?
Yeah.
Or like a
Doshin the Giant.
He's giant.
I'm gonna say like 11 feet tall.
Sounds pretty giant to me.
Yeah.
A Pikmin. 3 inches. It's like
That's-
just like the size of a GI Joe.
Size
Yeah.
of a Buck's neck.
Yes. Yeah.
Is how big a Pikmin is. Like the 80s version. Mokujin and Tekken.
So there's like a Mokujin is stout, so
He's-
there's like a
Yeah.
It's like a solid
No,
5
he's
feet.
5'10".
5.5,
6
5'11,
foot.
5'10, something like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
All right. Sure.
Taller than Marcus Phoenix, that's for sure.
Yes.
But also you could compare him to like the other humans and bears and such that are in Tekken and get within a certain range, I think.
Yes.
I also yes, there's probably a canonical answer here.
5'10".
Tetsujin, 5'8".
Right. Damn it.
5'8" for Mokujin, according to Tekken Tag Tournament 2, I guess.
how about going the little lizard?
What about his blood type?
It's like a
Hmm.
2 feet or something.
I don't blood type unknown.
Unknown.
How about Boskanovich?
I
In
mean,
his,
like,
in
it's
his,
hard.
in his
He's
default
usually laying
posture,
down.
Laying down,
in his
he's like,
default
what do you
posture,
count as
he's
height?
like, he's like half a foot tall. All right. This is an email from
about a foot
Nathan.
tall.
Okay, there you go. This is from Nathan, not from Washington. I'm just going to try to read this as close
Finally.
to the way it's formatted as possible. Some of these are in parentheses. Sometimes you think of Nintendo IPs. Mario, wow. Zelda, cool. Metroid, okay. Can Nintendo have another core IP? Can a new thing take the same place that these classic 16-bit franchises take? I know this is a dumb stereotype question.
They already did, baby. It's the number one thing. We all got 2 of them. That's right. It's arms.
That's right. Yep. Arms right up there with Zelda and all the rest. That's
Do you think that What's the last one of these?
that became like sacrosanct, like just part of the Nintendo pantheon.
Right.
Pikmin.
I guess. I don't know if-
I don't know.
Splatoon?
I don't know if Pikmin's quite up
Ooh.
there.
Splatoon.
I feel like they have not been.
Splatoon is probably close.
Splatoon's close. Probably.
But like before that, is it like Star Fox?
Star Fox is kind of up there.
I mean, when
Where
are
does
you
Smash
counting
fit
it? Are you counting it from like the first one, or are you counting it from like the moment where it cemented in
Just
as a?
general belovedness, let's say.
Because like Animal Crossing is maybe in the mix.
Yeah, that's probably
Would
true.
you consider Smash something separate?
No.
Smash
No,
doesn't count. I
that
don't
fits
think.
in.
Would
But-
you consider modern Donkey Kong something separate, even though there is
Yes.
like, would Donkey Kong Country be like a technical?
Kind of.
I think so because they
Inclusion,
continued
yeah.
that on with the tropical freezes and,
Yeah.
and
But something like completely brand new. It's been a while.
Labo.
There you go.
I feel like Splatoon is close. People love them some Splatoon for sure.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably the closest that I can think of.
Mhm. Or is it just Fire Emblem? I don't. Did Fire Emblem somehow become that game over the last couple of entries? I don't know.
Question for the Bombcast is the name of this email from James in Vancouver. Breakfast sandwich or breakfast burrito?
Burrito.
If I'm not making it, if somebody's going to make it for me, I'm going to say a burrito. If I
I'm
have,
the opposite.
if I have
Get
to
a
make it,
potato in a breakfast burrito. You can't get that in a sandwich.
right? If I
Sure
have
you
to,
can.
if I have to
you can put
make
a
it,
hash
I'm gonna make
brown on a
sandwich.
breakfast sandwich, and I did this
Oh,
morning. Jan.
Oh shit!
I'm just saying, try to go to a place. They're not going to give you a potato on a sandwich.
I have a weird hang up about carbs on carbs. Like I don't want to put a potato in a sandwich because I've already got bread. Is that weird?
No,
How long is that microphone or headphone cable? Wow.
very long.
I'm gonna say sandwich here.
Yeah.
Depending on, but there's I feel like the right breakfast burrito is the answer, but there are a
Yes.
lot of wrong breakfast
Okay,
burritos
sure.
out there.
Yes, I can get behind that.
My
I do
answer
like-
depends on the amount of egg in it.
Yeah.
Like if you go to Burger King, sometimes you get a I think a fair size amount of egg, but if you go to McDonald's, that's much more egg and it's much more puck like and it seems more artificial.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
I think it is a lot easier to screw up a breakfast burrito than it is a
I
breakfast
feel like I
sandwich.
don't want
Yeah.
a chain breakfast burrito, but chain breakfast sandwiches are totally okay and
Sure.
often good. But like, what I want out of a breakfast burrito in my ideal world is it's fucking massive. The same way you want a regular burrito to be. I want this fucking thing. I want it to be just a gigantic tube of eggs
Ugh.
and bacon and whatever else, cheese and just this massive honking, this fucking the baby's arm. It's like a
That's a
serious.
big baby's arm.
It's
Maybe
a
it's a torso.
gigantic. Yes, like a long like a baby and twice as thick.
Okay.
Like I'm
short
eating a
cake.
Pringles can full of eggs.
Oh,
Delicious.
And it can't be wrapped in foil.
just an artillery shell of eggs
Yeah.
just fired into your face.
Yes, launch the eggs into my face.
Speaking of eggs, we got to the point in quarantine where I finally braved it and learned how to poach an egg.
Oh boy.
It's way fucking easier than you think, guys. It's
don't
so
know,
easy.
man.
Just spin the water around and drop the egg and it's done. I went 10 years of my life cooking, being terrified to poach an egg because everyone's like, oh, it's so hard. No, don't let them get you down.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Some people demanding that you stream a poached egg tutorial.
Okay,
I'd watch
we'll do it. We'll do a Ben's Lens.
Do it. Put it on the site. I will follow it. I'll give it a shot.
I proposed an idea to Jan that I don't want to tease at all.
You're teasing it by saying
by
this.
talking about it.
Well, I mean,
I
I don't
don't
want to tease the
separate right now.
specifics of it, but I do want to say that we are talking about doing cooking stuff.
Well, I teased that as well. Me offhandedly just saying, I'll make a bunch of things, and I'll just bring them to your house and film you from afar eating them.
Through a window. Just spy
Jan's in
lens.
his car.
Yeah.
I forget to mic you. I mic myself. Just me heavy breathing.
It's just you going, oh, wow. While he eats.
It's like
No, not like that. Not like that. No. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Last email. Another Martin writing in. Today is a day of celebration because it is the 10-year anniversary of the amazing Konami press conference from 2010. I remember how hilarious and baffling it was to this day. Even better, they played it on repeat after it was over, and I stayed up late here in Germany just to watch it over and over again while chatting with others about it. Truly one of the greatest E3 moments. Which brings me to my question. Have you guys ever seen the whole thing? I don't recall you talking about it. It would be awesome to get a Game Tapes episode on this one. I've never seen that. I was like running around E3 doing...
Yeah, I got a
appointments and
request
stuff.
recently, or a suggestion that maybe that would be a good Game Tapes, and I thought about it, and I was like, oh man, that's like, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
But also, yeah, I don't think I've seen it all the way
I
through.
definitely-
So that I was leading to like, maybe next time we do one of these, we'll do that one.
Yeah, like I was a
Should do
little reluctant just because it's such a like internet meme at this point. Like, what can you add to that?
It's the thing is when you like, so I did watch a chunk of it. That's not the stuff you will immediately think of when you get there, and like
Yes.
all of it's fucking crazy.
Wait, is there more than like 1 million troops?
Yes.
Oh,
All,
it's
like,
the whole
Start
thing,
to finish,
Wait,
it's a
really?
fucking banger, man.
which is why we need to do it, because
Yeah,
people know
okay.
that meme, but like it
Okay.
is like chock full.
There's depth to that thing.
Okay,
that
I
you
didn't-
would never
I did not know
ever
that.
anticipate, man. Don't look it up, because
Okay.
you'll be shocked
All right.
by that thing. That's
Will I be
Yeah,
sucked?
there's the-
Does that... Never mind.
that's great, but like
that-
honestly, there's a lot there,
Okay.
a lot of meat on the
Okay,
bone, as
all
they
right.
say. That maybe that would be worth looking at.
All right, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that. I wish I had looked this up. This is from a few weeks ago that it came to light that Tak Fuji played the guitar on like one of the most famous Symphony of the Night tracks. Like, I can't remember which one, but there's probably, if you think of a Symphony of the Night song with wailing guitar on it, that's probably the one you're thinking of.
Mhm.
It was totally Tak Fuji
Great,
laying down the guitar track on that song.
great.
Chat might know what it is, but it might have been Clock Tower. I see people talking about.
Or Tragic Prince. is
Yeah,
that-
and I forget, but he tweeted about it. He tweeted about how much it kills him that his guitar was not properly in tune when he recorded,
Oh.
and he hates listening to it.
Well,
So, yes. All right. Well, a little piece of E3 history for you there. It's going to do it for emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. I had an email about the VMU MP3 player
right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That
Up
I've
there
been-
with the zip drive
that
in
I've been
terms of
sitting on because they
Yeah.
included a PDF with it. And I need to figure out a way to get that PDF onto the stream before we read that email.
yeah. Cool.
There's a little tease for next time. But thanks to everybody who wrote in. Thanks to everybody for listening. Somebody plug something. What do we got going on?
We got the after show coming
Okay.
up after this.
All right.
Yeah. And after that, I'm gonna play some Steam games.
Oh.
The Steam Summer Game Festival
Cool.
is hot. It's
We got
live.
demos.
We
Yep.
got demos.
Yes.
I'm gonna play
That
some
Windjammers
stuff.
demo.
Yeah.
That's right. Windjammers 2.
I'll probably steer away from that one. I'll let Jeff play that one. But
playable now.
I'll be sticking to my lane, so like beat 'em ups and shit like
Okay.
that.
Oh, I didn't even think that the fucking Jay and Silent Bob beat 'em up got announced. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, I played that on the last
going
Steam
on.
Game Festival.
Yeah, I was gonna
actually.
say that.
has that been out?
It's.
I think
no,
that
the
came- I
demo's
thi-
been out.
Oh, I thought it came and went.
I thought they
Uh,
announced a new one.
It may have seriously, and I forgot all about
Yeah,
it because that game was really no bueno.
as if things weren't dumb enough already.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have more Last of Us stuff later in the week. We can actually run proper video of that in the near future, so stay tuned for that.
Dota.
What?
You hear something?
I don't know. It's like a,
Sorry, I think my laptop fan was too
it's
loud.
like a whisper,
Okay, yeah.
a whisper on the wind or something. I
Like
don't know.
a foul-smelling whisper
Yeah,
somehow.
yes, it
Like,
does
ugh.
stink in here all of a sudden.
mm.
I think we'll be doing some stuff around the EA Play.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Thursday,
going
yeah.
Thursday.
Yes.
We're looking to talk over that.
Yes.
And all that sort of stuff.
Yes. So stay tuned. For
Torchlight 3 unfinished up on the website right now if
Yeah.
you want to see some of that. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
I'll be looking at the new Pokemon DLC tomorrow.
Oh, great.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody
What
for
a
listening in. Yeah. Stay tuned for the after show if you're live, and if not, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.